Tonight, let's choose to rest, not just our bodies, but our minds. Let's let go of what we can't control and trust the one who can. Let's believe, even for a moment, that peace is possible, that healing is real, and that God's word still has the power to calm the storms inside us. Maybe this will be the night you sleep through without waking in worry. Maybe it'll be the night you dream in peace. Or maybe it'll simply be the night you remember that you're not alone, and that's enough. Whatever this night becomes, know that you are seen, you are loved, and no matter how far you feel, God is closer than you can imagine. If these words bring you comfort, I gently invite you to subscribe to this channel, not because it's just another page, but because together we're creating something rare and holy, a space of rest, faith, and gentle renewal. When you share this with others, maybe a friend who's struggling, or someone who can't sleep, you're not just sharing a video, you're sharing peace. You're helping someone else find the same quiet you found here. And if you ever come back on another hard night, you'll know that this space will always be waiting, ready to remind you of the same truth over and over again. You are loved. You are safe. And God is here. Now, let the stillness settle deeper. Feel your heartbeat slow, your body unwind. The day is done. The night belongs to God, and so do you. Welcome home to His peace. I ask you now to settle deeper into the chair or bed. Let the body fold into support. Feel the weight of shoulders ease. Let the jaw unclench. A soft breath comes in. A slow breath goes out. Each breath softens the edges of the day. I lower the lights in my voice. My words move like a lamp passed across the room. They land gently. They do not demand. They invite. The steady sound of my voice will guide each small inhale and exhale. The room is quiet enough for those sounds to be like hands laid on the back. A simple rhythm holds us both. I picture a gentle shore. Night leans over the water. The waves do not race. They arrive and leave with perfect patience. Each wave is a little mercy. Each retreat makes room for a fresh, calm return. I imagine that pattern as a promise that motion can be peaceful. The mind can mirror this tide. I invite a practice of soft noticing. Notice the place where your body meets the bed or chair. Notice the coolness of breath on the lips. Notice the space behind the eyes. Let attention come without force. Let it look and then rest. There is no need to fix anything right now. Rest is enough. I speak from a place that remembers rest. Long days taught me how much the soul must be tended. I learned to carry only what helps. I learned to lay burdens down by the door. The door opens to a presence that is gentle and steady. This presence leans in with mercy, rather than a list of demands. It brings assurance like a cloak. I picture the presence as a light that does not glare. It is the color of early dawn. It moves across the chest and loosens whatever has tightened there. A warmth shows up under the ribs. Tension melts in that warmth. The breath lengthens a little. The shoulders drop an inch. The hands unclench. I do not bring arguments or heavy words. I offer small images and clear invitations. Imagine a hand at the back of the neck. Imagine a calm voice saying the day is over for now. Imagine permission to let go. These small gestures are enough to begin the letting. I lean into the promise that mercy arrives in the ordinary. Mercy looks like a blanket brought quietly, like someone sitting beside you without trying to change anything. Mercy resembles a soft rhythm of repeating kindness. It is present now in the stillness. It asks nothing in return. I invite memory to soften. Think of one moment from today that carries weight. Let it pass through the mind like a leaf on the water. Watch it float. Do not chase it. Do not keep it. Let the current carry it away. In its place, let a scene of tenderness take up a little room. Perhaps the warmth of a cup in your hands. Perhaps the quiet smile of a stranger. Hold that for a breath. I bring a simple truth to this space. Hope is not a loud thing. It is a steady ember. It warms without burning. It stays bright when the world is dim. Hope holds hands with mercy. Together, they sit beside restless thought and invite peace. This presence has a name that feels like home. It draws close now, not to correct, but to comfort. I tell these things in the present because they are present. The comfort comes now, not only later. The mercy meets the worn places right where they are. The hope leans into the small openings of the heart. The promise is not distant. It is a breath away. I use a few gentle images to carry the mind. Picture a shepherd who walks fields at evening. The sheep are calm. They graze without hurry. The shepherd's presence keeps wolves at bay. The simple fact of being watched over allows rest. This image is not a lesson to solve all mysteries. It is a quiet picture that makes space for sleep. I speak next about forgiveness as a release that feels like permission to rest. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting every hard thing. It means letting the sharpness dull. It means taking off a heavy coat and setting it by the door. You may not be ready to do that fully. A small act of handing one small piece of weight over will do for tonight. It is enough. I ask for a moment of gratitude, not a list. Just one warm note. Maybe a small kindness received. Maybe the steady roof overhead. Maybe breath itself. Name it silently. Let it glow in the chest for 2 slow breaths. Gratitude is a small light that keeps the mind from wandering into fear. It does not fix everything. It keeps the heart company. I then draw attention to the hands and feet. Imagine them softening. Imagine each finger letting go of tension, like petals loosening from a bud. Each toe rests like a small favor given to the ground. The feet remember how to be still. The hands remember how to rest. This gentle physical release helps the mind follow. I keep my voice low. Each sentence is short. Each pause is long enough to breathe in. The slow cadence is like walking with a companion who knows when to be silent. The silence is part of the reading. It holds meaning. It holds space. I offer a short reflection on mercy in the small things. Mercy can come in a cup of warm water. Mercy can come in the kindness of a remembered phrase. Mercy can come in the fact that stars continue to shine while the mind worries. This mercy is available now, not as something earned, but as a gift laid out like a simple meal. The gift asks only for acceptance. I remind the listener of rest as an act of trust rather than a retreat. Sleep is a gentle surrender to the care that watches over the night. It is not a weakness. It is a humble acceptance of help. Trusting in that help is like leaning against a friend's shoulder. The body knows how to do that when given permission. I move toward a short breath exercise that I will guide slowly. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. Repeat this pattern 3 times. Each cycle slows the heart. Each cycle softens thought. Follow the numbers with the breath. Let each exhale be a little deeper than the last. I pause to imagine a verse as a soft picture, rather than a text, to dissect. The picture is a quiet field that receives all comers. Even those who stumble find a place to rest there. The field does not question the feet that arrive. It opens itself in welcome. Hold that picture with the next 2 breaths. I speak lightly about hope again. Hope looks ahead without forcing outcome. It stays present-minded. It trusts that care is greater than worry. Hope is a steady guest who sits with the restless heart and hums a simple tune. That tune calms the storm of what-ifs. I close this invitation with an intentional act. I will read to you now. My reading will be slow. My words will be simple. The passages I choose aim to soothe rather than to puzzle. They touch mercy, steadiness, and rest. Allow them to wash over the day's frayed edges. Let each sentence settle like a soft cloth laid over tired shoulders. I will keep pauses between lines long enough for breath. I will choose images that invite sleep. I will not press for answers. The aim is gentle assurance. The aim is hope wrapped in mercy. The aim is rest. When I finish the first passage, I will give time to let it sink. There will be room for silence. There will be room to breathe. If sleep comes, let it come. If wakefulness remains, let it be tended without fear. This time is a gift for both. Now, as the room grows softer and the breath lengthens, prepare to hear the first quiet reading. Let the fingers and toes rest. Let the mind follow the steady line of my voice. I begin with a passage that embraces the weary and speaks peace into the night. I read now with calm. My voice moves slow and even. Each sentence is a soft step. The passage I choose opens with a picture of care. A shepherd walks beside quiet fields. Sheep find grass that gives rest. Water lies still and bright. The feet of the tired find gentle ground. The shepherd's presence keeps worry at the edge. The path feels safe. The heart can lower its guard. I let that image settle. Breathe in, breathe out. The picture does not hurry. It simply holds. Imagine that space inside the chest. Imagine the cool of the grass. Imagine the hush of water. The mind can rest inside the picture for one more slow breath. Next, I move to a passage that calls the weary forward. The words invite whatever is heavy to come closer. They offer a lightness that is small and real. No demands follow. The invitation is simple. Come and rest. Lay down burdens for a while. You are not required to carry everything alone tonight. A steady hand meets the back of the neck. A gentle agreement says, it is okay to stop. I read that as a quiet promise. Let the shoulders soften. Let the jaw unclench. The breath lengthens a little more. The invitation feels like a chair placed where you need it most. It waits without questions. After that, a short passage paints a shelter. The shelter is not built out of grand words. It is made of steady mercy. It holds small faults and hidden fears. It opens not to judge, but to hold. Inside, there is warmth that does not demand explanation. Inside, a hush covers the clamor. Allow that hush to sit around the shoulders and the neck. Let it press softly against the places that ache. I pause again. The room breathes with me. Let fingers relax. Let toes release. Picture a thin cloth laid across a tired sternum. It warms there like memory. That warmth is mercy. It is not conditional. It does not tally mistakes. It simply warms. I then read a short image about leading. A companion walks where the road turns steep. Hands guide with steady touch. When steps falter, arms support. When fear creeps close, the presence murmurs calm without loudness. Nothing is asked in return for that care. The care is patient. The care knows the way even when the mind does not. Hold that image for 2 slow breaths. Think of support as a soft current under the feet. It does not shove. It lifts. The next passage speaks of light. It is not harsh. It is the color of early morning and late afternoon. It does not glare. It simply makes edges visible enough to be gentled. The light finds the small knots of worry and loosens them. It brings a kindness that feels like a raised hand. Let it move along the collarbone. Let it warm the back of the throat. Breathe into that warmth. I guide a brief breathing again. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. Repeat the pattern. Each round slows the pulse. Each round invites calm deeper into the ribs. Keep the mind on the lengthening of exhale. Let the longer breath carry the day away. In a slower part, a passage speaks of forgiveness as a road unburdened. It does not erase memory. It eases its sharpness. Think of a heavy coat taken off at the door. One arm finally slips free. The weight lessens. The body remembers how to sit without strain. Offer one small piece of the load to the presence that watches the night. It is enough for now. There is a gentle sentence about thankfulness that asks for no show of perfection. Name one small good thing. It may be the sound of rain. It may be the steadiness of a lamp. It may be breath itself. Hold that one moment of thanks like a coin in the palm. Let it warm the skin. Let it remind the heart that not all is hard. I turn the pages slowly in voice. A short passage holds the heart like a hand. It says quietly that fear does not have the last word. It nudges trust forward one small step. Trust here is not grand. It looks like letting the eyes close for a single minute. It looks like allowing rest to begin. Then I read of shelter through night. Stars move above without hurry. They keep their watch. Under that sky, a promise stays steady. The promise is not a list of proofs. It is a presence that keeps vigil. The mind can lay down beside that promise. It can lean against what is faithful. Let the head find that gentle rest. My voice gives space after each image. Long pauses sit like calm rooms between sentences. The pauses are part of the reading. They let the listener become part of the space. Silence becomes a companion that carries meaning. A few lines describe gentle guidance rather than harsh correction. There may be missteps in the day. That is expected. Guidance comes not as blame, but as direction. The hand that points also steadies. The foot that walks beside helps set pace. Allow a soft settling where correction might have been feared. It comes with tenderness. In a stretch, I read of comfort that arrives like rain on dry soil. It fills small cracks slowly. It does not flood. It penetrates without loudness. The plants lift their leaves again. The heart unknots one loop. The breath smooths. This comfort does not hurry. It arrives with careful patience. I then read a short image of rest as a right rather than a reward. Sleep is not a prize to be earned. It is a space given to the body and heart to mend. Accepting that space is an act of trust. Let the mind try on permission to stop working for a little while. That permission fits easily. Keep it on a few breaths longer. Toward the close of this reading, I offer a line that speaks of presence beside sorrow. It does not erase it. It sits with it like a warm chair beside a cool stone. The presence in the chair leans in with a steady attention. That attention can hold the ache softly without trying to rush it away. Allow that holding to be enough for now. Before I finish, I read of a returning peace. The peace is quiet and small at first. It grows by degrees. It comes like a steady hum under the louder thoughts. It steadies the pulse. It brings a sense of enoughness. When this peace arrives, the body knows to sink deeper. The mind knows to quiet its list of worries. I pause again and guide one last breathing cycle. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. Imagine the breath as the tide at the edge of sleep. Each out-breath pulls the day a little farther away. Let the rhythm be slow and kind. Now I close this part of the reading with a simple benediction of calm. The words are not an argument. They are a quiet sending. May rest find the body. May mercy fill the gaps. May hope remain as a small light. The night keeps watch. It carries no requirement but presence. I will stop reading for now. The room holds space for whatever comes next. There will be a pause long enough for sleep to arrive. If sleep needs more time, let it have that time. If wakefulness stays, carry this calm into the present. The images are small tools to use again. When the next part begins, I will return with another gentle passage. For tonight, allow the breath to guide. Let the head ease. Let the hands open. Rest is near. The presence that keeps watch waits patiently. Let the eyelids close when they are ready. Now rest. I remain a soft voice in the ear of the night. And I will come again. I welcome the room again. I lower my voice a little more. The lights of sound shift to a softer hue. Peace fills the space like a slow, steady breath. It arrives without fanfare. It settles around shoulders and minds. The day's noise thins. A calm presence fills the room. I remind the listener that this presence is near. It stands at the edge of thought, like a warm lamp. The lamp does not demand attention. It simply glows. Let the glow be enough. Let the heart lean toward it. I picture the presence as a quiet house. Windows are open just enough for cool air. Curtains move a little. There is no need to hurry inside. Each step toward the house is gentle. The floor receives tired feet. The seat in the corner welcomes rest. Imagine moving there now. Imagine the body folding in without effort. I prepare to read again. My reading is softer. It moves at the pace of slow walking. Each phrase is an invitation. Each pause gives room for the breath to fall. The passages I choose show mercy and simple hope. They do not press for answers. They offer a steady hand. The first passage I read now paints a quiet landscape of peace. The scene is simple. It shows fields that are calm. It shows paths that do not hurry. The feet can slow. The eyes can close. The mind is allowed to stop solving. This peace does not remove troubles. It places them on a shelf where care can touch them. Let one breath rest on that idea. I breathe with the listener. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 6. Each cycle lengthens the quiet. Each exhale releases the day. The body lets the shoulders fall a fraction. The jaw loosens. A small warmth settles in the chest. Next, a short passage speaks of rest as belonging. Rest is not foreign. It is a native place. The invitation is not a test. It is a welcome. The welcome is offered freely. No conditions attach. The mind can set down its ledger and let hands unclench. The heart can accept the space without proving worth. I guide a tiny exercise of attention. Place awareness on the collarbone. Notice the weight of clothing there. Notice the rise and fall with each breath. Imagine that place softening like linen warmed by sun. Keep attention gentle. Do not press. Do not judge. Let soft noticing be enough. I read a line that reminds of gentle guidance. The guide walks beside, not above. The guide's steps match the listener's pace. The guide's presence steadies without crowding. If the footing slips, the hand steadies. If the night feels large, the presence draws closer, not to correct but to comfort. Picture a light held at waist height. It shows just enough to make the next step safe. A calm reflection follows. Forgiveness is pictured again as release rather than erasure. To forgive is to lay a small stone down at a doorway. The weight lifts, if only slightly. The back remembers how to settle. The breath lengthens a little more. Offer this small letting to the quiet presence. It is enough for tonight. I move to a passage that holds sorrow without trying to fix it. The presence sits with sorrow, like a companion with a warm cup. It does not demand answers. It keeps vigil. The vigil itself is a solace. Allow the space beside pain to be filled by steady attention. Let that attention be a cushion under the ache. My voice slows further. Each sentence becomes shorter. The pauses stretch like soft shadows between lamps. The room listens in the stillness. Silence becomes part of the reading. It carries the words forward. There is a small image of a pathway by a river. The river moves but does not rush. The path runs beside it. Feet can walk slowly. Thoughts can drift with the water. The presence walks on the other side, close enough to touch. The companionship is quiet and unassuming. Imagine placing a palm on the rail and feeling that company near. I guide another breathing pattern. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. Repeat. Each breath is a small tide, pulling the day a little farther from shore. Notice how the exhale lengthens the quiet. Notice how the in-breath brings a soft fullness that does not press. A short section speaks of light that heals rather than blinds. This light moves like late afternoon through leaves. It lands in patches. It warms small places of the body. It loosens the tightness at the base of the skull. It smooths the clench at the brow. Allow the light to pass slowly along the arms and down to the wrists. Let the hands rest open. I read a passage that names hope as steady rather than loud. Hope here acts like a small lantern in a dim corridor. The lantern does not banish shadow at once. It makes step-by-step movement possible. Step by step. The corridor feels less hostile. The heart finds a rhythm that can carry on beyond the minutes of wakefulness. Hold that lantern image softly for 2 breaths. Gratitude appears again in a quiet. Spare way. Choose one simple thing to hold for a moment. Maybe a cup of warm liquid. Maybe a soft voice heard earlier. Maybe the ease of a sheet against the skin. Hold that one small thing like a pebble in the palm. Let it remind the heart that not every moment aches. I slow the reading into a hush. The passages now speak of the promise of rest as a daily mercy. Mercy appears as a blanket put over shoulders that are chilled. Mercy is not a judgment. It is a care. It does not tally errors. It warms the trembling places. Let the mental image be a gentle weight that helps the head lower. There follows a short image of returning. Some nights feel like wandering. Returning means finding a familiar chair in the home of presence. It requires steps. Yes, but the steps become easier with company. Allow the body to feel the travel homeward. Imagine doors opening into a room that holds quiet. The room is not empty. It holds hope, like a slow ember. I guide a final, deeper breath cycle. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. Let this round be the loosest so far. Let the out-breath be a slow river leaving the bank. Imagine small knots of thought loosening and drifting away on that river. The mind can follow, if it wishes, or simply watch them go. Before I close, I read a brief passage that names presence as unchanging through the night. The presence keeps watch like a steady star. It does not waver with every worry. It remains, trusting that steadiness is a gentle exercise. It asks only for a small surrender. Lay the mind down for a single hour and see what the steady watch will do. My tone now becomes a soft benediction. The words are simple and calm. May rest come without guilt. May mercy be a roofing that shelters the small cracks. May hope remain as an ember near the ribs. The night keeps caring. Let the body accept that care. I pause, long and deep. The silence carries the rest of the night. There is time for sleep to come. There is also time for the quiet to be kept and returned to when wakefulness returns. The images offered tonight are small tools. They may be used again in other hours, when the next part of this series begins. I will read another gentle passage. For now, keep the breathing slow. Let the hands find softness. Let the jaw loosen. Allow the eyelids to close when they are ready. I step back in voice and let silence take the main stage. The room now holds what has been given. Peace remains. I will come again with more readings that speak to mercy and quiet hope. Until then, rest well. I come back into the quiet with a softer step. Light in the voice dims further. The room holds the hush like a bowl. Each sound now is careful. Each breath finds space. A line from scripture waits in my mouth. Gentle in shape, it calls the tired to come. It offers rest to the heavy laden. I let the words unfurl like a small flag of invitation. No hurry follows. The invitation spreads a kind of roominess across the chest. I do not speak to fix. I speak to invite. The invitation is like an open gate at evening. A traveler sees lamplight and knows a place to rest. The pack comes off slowly. Shoulders ease when the strap drops. The body remembers how to be still. Imagine a harbor dusk. Boats drift close to the quay. A rope is thrown. The loud business of the day slips away. Hands are offered and received. The hull meets the planks with a soft thud. That thud signals arrival. That arrival is a kind of mercy. Think of rest not as absence of noise, but as a different kind of work. Rest arranges the self to receive care. It does not mean everything is solved. It means one small portion of the night is held by steadiness. A weight is lifted from the chest. That lift makes room for slower breath. Place attention now on a small point in the body, perhaps the place where the shirt meets the skin at the collar. Notice any tightness there. Breathe toward it. Let the next inhalation come with curiosity. Let the exhale be a gentle loosening. Each out-breath spreads relief like a hand-smoothing cloth. The invitation in the verse is universal. It reaches toward weariness in many forms. Some burdens feel visible and heavy. Others are like small pebbles in a shoe. Always present, but easily ignored. Both kinds can be set down. Tonight, one small stone is enough to hand over. Picture a peg on a wall by a modest door. Each burden becomes an item of clothing. One by one they hang. The coat of worry goes up. The hat of fear is set aside. The lamp inside glows higher, standing lighter. The feet find the floor less tired. That image is not demanding. It simply shows how a small act of laying down changes posture. Breath with me now, in a measured way. In for 4. Pause for 2. Out for 6. Let the rhythm be a slow tide. Each long out-breath carries a small knot of thought farther out on the water. Watch how the body follows the breath without effort. Let the shoulders release a little more on each outflow. A short picture of a hammock appears in the mind. It hangs between 2 strong posts. The fabric gives. The body molds into the curve. There is no need to hold oneself upright. The hammock does the job. Allow a similar support to take shape around the heart. Let it hold without asking for repayment. There is a soft promise in the words not to remove the learning of the day, but to give a place where it can rest. Learning and rest are not enemies. they can live side by side. The night mends what the day has stretched. The small seams of the soul are sewn by gentle time, not by force. I speak of mercy as an ordinary action. Mercy looks like warm tea placed on a bedside table. Mercy looks like a pair of slippers waiting. Mercy looks like a hand on a shoulder that does not speak. These are small economies of care. They add up to a feeling of being tended. Hold one memory of gentleness now. It may be a neighbor's polite nod. It may be an honest admission made earlier in the day. It may be a quiet blessing received without comment. Let that memory glow a little in the chest. Let it be a reminder that goodness is present, even in thorny days. A brief movement toward gratitude follows. Name one small good quietly. Keep it simple. Let it warm the inside of the ribs. Gratitude is not a demand. It is a light touch that keeps worry from swallowing attention. It does not solve all questions. It anchors the heart for a moment. The verse's invitation also brings a steady presence near sorrow. This presence does not rush the ache. It sits with it, like a neighbor who will not leave until dawn. That companion brings patience as a towel brings warmth. The ache remains, but its edges soften with company. Imagine walking slowly down a corridor that has soft runner rugs. With each step, the feet feel the give of fabric. The runner muffles the clatter of hard thoughts. The corridor bends toward a small garden. Light filters in. Plants breathe in the same gentle air. The pace is unhurried. The walk is its own rest. If the mind begins to measure merit or failure, let that measuring fade like a shadow. Rest does not ask for proofs. Rest is given to those who come weary. It is not weighed by achievement. It is available without a ledger. The absence of tallying itself feels like a room emptied of sharp furniture. There is a tenderness in the promise that reaches brokenness. A cracked cup still holds tea. A threadbare blanket still warms. The presence that calls the weary recognizes broken things and does not discard them. Instead, it covers them, tends to them, honors the edges where repair might begin. I guide a little scene of hands now. Hands that once gripped the wheel of a long day loosen. Fingers spread like leaves. Palms turn up. The turn invites receiving. The act is small. The effect is large. Allow the hands to rest in that openness for 2 breaths. Light in this passage does gentle work. It is the kind of light that gathers rather than exposes. It arrives in the corners first. It fills the places where the skin aches under worry. It does not glare. It gives enough to see where to place the next foot. Imagine that light, warming the clavicle, then the sternum, then the belly. Let it travel slowly. Rest also asks for small courage. It takes bravery to stop trying to fix everything. The courage looks like admitting tiredness aloud in a whisper. It looks like letting eyes slow. It is not loud. It is simple. The gentle act of stopping becomes a quiet witness to hope. Let the rhythm of the body slow. Notice the heartbeat. It has been doing work all day. A slight slowing matters. This slowing is not defeat. It is stewardship of the self. Allow the breath pattern to stabilize the rhythm. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 6. Repeat 3 times. Each repeat is a small gift. I invite an image of a chair by a window. The window shows a navy sky. Stars do not compete with city lights. They simply punctuate the dark with soft dots. A mug sits on the armrest. Steam rieses. The chair does not demand movement. It waits with a kind of patience. That is itself a mercy. Tonight, the words from Scripture act like a hand laid on the forehead of the world. They do not erase pain. They steady the trembling. They promise a place to come. The promise is not a burden. It is a refuge. Before I close this part, rest in a single, steady sentence that is not a task. Come and find rest. Let the sentence act like a small door. Walk through it in imagination. The floor inside receives any heaviness. The fire inside does not judge. It warms. I pause now with a long silence. Let the breath continue the pattern. Let the mind linger in the harbor picture. If sleep appears, accept it. If wakefulness holds, keep the images ready like tools. They are gentle instruments for quiet hours. When I return in the next part, I will read another short passage that holds mercy as a hands-on kindness. For now, settle into the stillness. Allow rest to gather you. Let hope sit near the ribs like a warm stone. Let the night keep vigil. I remain a soft presence for a while longer. My voice moves like a slow lantern passing over the room. Each sentence is short. Each pause is generous. The aim is calm. The aim is rest. I read now with gentle care. I do not recite to convince. I speak to invite. The scripture I carry into this moment is a simple promise. I place it in the air like a small lamp. The thought goes like this: lie down in peace. Sleep comes safer when you feel watched over. The one who keeps watch makes a dwelling of safety. Let that idea rest against the ribs. Picture a room where the windows face a quiet yard. The curtains stir with a slow breath of air. A lamp sits low on a table. Its light makes a shallow pool. You can step into that pool and let your edges soften. The room does not ask for solutions. It only asks for presence. Being here is enough. I move slowly through another short passage. It speaks about stillness more than busyness. The command is simple: be still. The stillness is not empty. It is like a deep pond that reflects the sky. When the surface calms, stars appear there too. Let the mind be that pond for a bit. Let small ripples fade. Watch the reflection become clear. Breathe with me now. In for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Out for 6. Each cycle slows the rush. Each out-breath takes another thin thread of the day away. Do this 3 times. Feel the chest widen and then yield. The shoulders drop a fraction each time. The hands lie lighter in the lap or at the sides. I read again, choosing words that cradle rather than prod. The passage promises rest. It promises a safe place to lie down. Safety is not a heavy fortress. It is a circle of care that does not squeeze. Imagine it as a soft wall of light. The wall is low enough to feel embraced by it. The circle keeps what is needed near. The circle leaves room to breathe. Think of rest as permission rather than escape. Permission is a key gently turned. It unlocks the posture of constant doing. It allows muscles to unlearn the habit of clenching. The neck releases. The jaw slackens. The eyes grow heavy without shame. Permission is a small, quiet mercy. Hold a single small image now. A wooden bench at the edge of a garden. Ivy climbs a trellis nearby. A small lantern hangs over the seat. The air smells faintly of leaves and earth. You sit. You do not have to tidy your thoughts. You do not have to produce answers. The bench supports simply by being there. Rest can be like that bench. I offer a line from the scripture again, but in my own words. Lay down in peace. Know that safety surrounds you. The language is low. It is not a debate. It is a hush. Let it cover the places that have been raw during the day. Let it be a balm on the shoulders and on the chest. There is a brief image of shelter I keep now. It is not a grand house. It is a small room with thick walls. The roof keeps out storm noises. Inside, the flame on the hearth is steady. It does not roar. It simply warms. Allow the hearth to be a presence in the chest. Its heat is steady. The mind can rest on that steadiness. I steer away from argument. I choose scenes that do small work. The next short passage reads like a lullaby for the anxious. It says there is someone who watches the night. The watch is not a tight guard. It is a soft, sitting beside the bed, keeping count of the breaths one by one. Imagine being counted back into calm. Each counted breath is a bead sliding on a string toward a pause. A tiny exercise follows. Place attention at the base of the skull. Notice the space there. Soften it on the out-breath. Let the muscles around the neck unwind like a rope loosening its knot. Keep the motion small. The aim is subtle change. The brain notices less pressure. The spine relaxes into the bed or chair. I read another passage that speaks of protection. The image is of a lamp in the dark. It shows enough to keep steps safe. It does not expose everything at once. It reveals only the next small step. Gratitude for that light is quiet work. Name one small thing now that brought warmth today, a smile. A hand. A pause of quiet. Let it sit as a small coin in the palm of thought. Rest sometimes requires permission to be imperfect. The scripture here does not demand perfection. It names weariness and allows it. The words act like a towel draped over wet shoulders. They do not judge the dampness. They simply make dryness possible. Let that towel be the image that lends you gentleness. Picture a slow river at night. Its surface is soft. It carries leaves and small pieces of driftwood. The river does not hurry. Let one small worry be a leaf. Place it on the water. Watch it travel downstream. It moves with patient current. The river keeps going. The worry grows smaller as distance increases. I guide another breathing pattern. Slightly different. Inhale slowly for 5 counts. Pause for 2. Exhale gently for 7. This longer breath asks the body to extend the letting. Notice how the heart rate softens. Notice the muscles around the mouth ease. Repeat twice. Allow the breath to be a quiet tide pulling awareness toward rest. I read about the idea of dwelling. To dwell means to live habitually, in a space of safety. The concept invites the mind to imagine a house where softness is routine. Chairs remember how to accept weight. Sheets know the shape of the sleeper. Food is waiting, not to be earned, but to be shared. Let that house be a mental shelter this night. If sorrow is present, it need not be fixed to be held. The passage offers the image of a companion who sits beside sorrow, with no haste to change it. Their hand rests lightly near, but not on the wound. That hand is steady. Its presence reduces the sting. Allow sorrow to exist with that companion. No rush, no apology. There is a quiet motif of gentleness in the next lines. Gentleness wears no armor. It moves slowly. It asks for small courage, the courage to stop. The bravery is not loud. It is the quiet choice to lay the head down. It is the soft decision to let the eyes close even if thoughts remain. Courage looks like surrender in this moment. I read a final short reassurance aloud. Sleep does not have to solve understanding. It only needs to mend. The night stitches the small rips of the heart with an invisible thread. Waking will bring new tasks. But tonight the stitches can begin. Allow the body to be the patient of the night. I give one more breathing cycle. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 6. Let this be the loosest breath so far. Let the out-breath carry the day a little farther out to sea. Feel the sternum soften. Notice the singleness of this moment. Before I step back, I leave a careful benediction. Rest gently tonight. Let safety surround the sleeping. Let mercy quiet the mind. Keep a slow ember of hope near the ribs. The night keeps watch without asking anything in return. I will stay silent now for a longer while the pause is long enough for sleep to come, if it will, if wakefulness stays. Return to the images offered. Use them as small tools bench. Lantern. River to steady the night. When the next part begins, I will read again with the same calm intention. For now, breathe, settle, and allow the body to be still. The presence that calls the weary skirts the edges of thought like a warm hand. Let it rest there. Let sleep come when it can. I will come back soon. I come close in voice and slow the pace. Tonight, I stay with one gentle theme. Forgiveness, release. I do not turn to heavy words. I fold the idea like a soft cloth. The aim is ease. The aim is rest. Settle where you are. Let the body find its most comfortable angle. A small breath in. A longer breath out. Feel how the chest widens for a moment. Then eases. The rhythm softens. The hands relax. The face smooths. I speak in the present because this mercy is present now. Picture a small tray before you. On it lie tiny stones. Each stone names something that weighs on you. A harsh word. An old hurt. A small betrayal. A decision that still stings. Do not rush. Look at one stone. Hold it lightly with your imagination. Notice its shape. Notice any weight you feel in the chest when that stone appears. Now imagine the tray moving toward a steady stream. The stream is shallow and clear. It runs with the quiet sound of moving water. Bring the stone to the edge. Let it go. Watch it settle on the sand below. The water flows over it. The surface closes softly. The stone rests where it will not bruise your foot anymore. Let the breath follow the motion. Out on the breath, the stone slips away. I read to you a verse in the spirit of promise. It invites the weary to enter a room of mercy. The invitation is not a test. It is an open hand. It does not demand explanations. It offers a place to set burdens down. Hear that as a gentle calling. Receive it not because you are perfect, but because rest is a gift that meets every kind of tiredness. Forgiveness is pictured not as forgetting, but as changing the thing's place. Imagine a knot tied in a thin rope. That knot once secured a heavy sack. Now the sack is empty. The knot still holds a memory. Untie it slowly in your mind. You do not have to throw the rope away. Simply loosen the knot. Let the rope lie uncoiled by the path. The hand that unties does so without hurry. The body breathes easier. I invite a small practice. Place attention on the palms. Picture the hands opening. Not to clutch, but to release. The fingers unfold like petals. Each out-breath invites one small letting. With each out-breath, imagine a tiny piece of burden falling from the fingertips. It drifts downward and dissolves into light. There is no need to name everything. A single small release tonight is enough. Listen as I paraphrase another promise of mercy. The promise says that grace is available freely. It does not tally failures before accepting a person. The welcome is for the tired, the anxious, the one who keeps score of their own missteps. Mercy approaches gently and removes the ledger. The removal is not a trick. It is care. If anger rises when you think of letting go, do not push it away. Name the feeling quietly in the mind. Call it what it is. Notice how it feels in the body. Is it heat behind the eyes? A tightness at the throat? Offer that sensation, the same invitation. Breathe toward it. Let the out-breath carry a portion of the heat away. Do this until the edge of the anger softens. Forgiveness begins where the body can breathe. There is a simple image I keep returning to. Imagine a window left open through a long, locked season. The air in the room has been stale. You walk in and open the window wide. Cool air enters and moves through. Old smells lift. Dust settles in a new pattern. The room does not change its memories. It simply breathes again. Let forgiveness be like that open window. It refreshes without erasing the past. I read a short passage that feels like a bedside word. It gives permission to hand over one small burden. It does not require handing over everything at once. Take the smallest stone from the tray. Bring it closer. Speak nothing aloud unless you wish. Imagine the stone placed into the palm of the one who keeps watch. The palm is warm. The stone warms and then cools. The weight leaves your fingers. Notice the space there. Forgiveness often begins as an act of letting alone. It is a choice to stop tending the wound with constant picking. Imagine a gardener who stops pulling at a scab of earth and instead waters the soil gently. The plant beneath does not vanish. It grows calmer. Your care can become gentler too. Let the mind move from prying to tending. Give one small mercy to yourself and to the other. In this place, I remind you, forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation tonight. Release does not demand a conversation. Sometimes release is a quiet lowering of an arm. It is choosing not to rehearse the wrong. It is deciding, for 1 hour, that the story does not have to repeat in the breast. That small decision is a true gift. There may be guilt that clings to the idea of release. Guilt sometimes says, "You do not deserve to let go." I read another comforting thought. The mercy offered is not measured by merit. It is not a reward for goodness. It is given. Accepting it is not arrogance. It is acceptance of help. Let that truth sit like a warm stone on the ribs. It is not large. It is steady. Breathe with me now in a deliberate pattern. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold for a gentle 2. Exhale for 6 counts. With each out-breath, imagine one small burden drifting like mist. Do this 5 times. Notice the way the rhythm opens more space behind the sternum. Notice how the shoulders drop an inch. Each breath makes room. Picture a cloth soaked in water. It stains easily. Wring it out over the stream. The dirty water runs free. The cloth is lighter. The pattern of stains remains faint, but they no longer weigh. Forgiveness works similarly. The stain of the hurt may remain, but it no longer pulls at the fabric of your life. The cloth will dry and soften. Sometimes the hardest burden is a voice inside that says, "Remember." That voice is old and practiced. It finds the same path every night. To change that path, introduce a new rhythm. Take the voice's next turn and replace its direction with something small and true. Name a single good thing that happened today. Hold it for 2 breaths. Let it become the new step. The voice will notice the difference and follow after a while. I read now a brief passage that brings tenderness to sorrow. It says in plain terms that sadness is not a failure. It is an honest marker of love and care. The presence that watches the night honors tears. Tenderness sits near brokenness like a shawl. It warms, but does not smother. Allow that shawl to cover the places where grief still aches. If resentment feels lodged in the heart, imagine a hot coal being cooled deliberately. Scoop it gently into a basin of water. The steam rises. The coal is changed. It no longer burns the skin that carries it. This is not an instant miracle. The cooling is a steady act. Be patient with the process. Small coolings accumulate into real relief. Offer yourself a short exercise of release. Take 1 breath and name silently one thing you will let go of tonight. Keep it small. Speak the name in your mind. As you exhale, imagine that thing moving away like a paper boat on a slow current. Watch it float until it is a dot. Leave it there. Rest with the knowing that you will not have to carry it for this hour. I remind you gently, forgiveness is a gift first to the one who forgives. Unburdening does not always ease the other person's load. It clears the hands of the forgiver so that life can carry on. This is not a dismissal of justice or of memory. It is a practical mercy that helps the body and mind sleep. Now I place my hand lightly on the idea of prayer. Though not as a long list, prayer in this hour is a quiet handing over It can be a single sentence, a few words, or simply the silence of offering. The act is less about eloquence and more about trust. Trust that the weight you hand over will be held. You can test that trust gently by letting one small thing go and seeing how the chest responds. I close this part with a soft benediction. May anything that presses on the heart find a small path to loosen. May mercy meet the wounds and not tally mistakes. May release come in small measures and in steady waves. Let the night be a companion in the untying. Take one last long breath with me. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 8. Let the out-breath be the longest yet. Feel the shoulders drop completely. Allow the eyelids to rest if they are ready, if wakefulness remains. Keep the images of stones, of open windows, of cooled coals, as tools to return to. I will read again in the next part. We will keep tracing mercy with quiet steps. For now, rest in the knowledge that forgiveness is offered without condition. Let that thought be a small lamp under the ribs. Sleep if it will. If not, hold the lamp and breathe. I stay nearby in voice, and I will come back. I come closer in voice. The room grows quieter. My words move like a slow lamp. Tonight, I hold a single line from Scripture in my hands and let it breathe. It says that the mercy we receive is meant to shape the way we give mercy. The call is simple. Forgive as you have been forgiven. I do not weigh the phrase. I let it rest as a soft invitation. I begin with a small picture. Imagine a harbor with ropes tied to a pier. Ships sit heavy with cargo. Each rope holds something, a memory, a sharp word, a grievance. The ropes keep the ships safe from storm. They also keep the ships from moving. Forgiveness is the act of untying one rope so the vessel can drift gently. The sea is not a place of forgetting. It is a place where movement is possible again. I hold that image lightly. Look at one rope. Name it in the mind if it helps. It carries the weight of a hurt, perhaps a repeated hurt. Bring attention to the chest. Notice any tightness there. Breathe into that place. Allow the breath to soften the grip. This is not a demand to fix the past. It is permission to loosen the whole. I offer a short breathing guide to accompany this. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. With each out-breath, imagine the knot at the rope's end easing. Do this 3 times. Each cycle makes a small space inside the ribs. Each exhale renders the knot a little less firm. The ship does not have to sail tonight. It only needs room to make a small turn. Think of forgiveness as a kind of showing. I picture a field where kites fly. Each kite is tethered to a person's wrist. Some kites whine and pull hard. Others drift calm and bright. To forgive someone is to ease the line in your hand. You do not cut the string unless you choose. You only loosen your grasp enough that the kite can find its own arc again. The breeze does the rest. The sky receives the color. The wrist breathes easier. This gentle work often begins with remembering how mercy felt when it arrived for us. Bring to mind one small moment when mercy was given, a soft word, a hand that stayed, a time when something heavy was left at the door. Hold that moment for 2 quiet breaths. Let the warmth from it spread in a small arc. Now turn that warmth outward. See it move toward the face of the one who caused the hurt. Let it be the same warmth that once came your way. Offer it without needing a reply. There may be resistance. Anger can flare like a candle that refuses to be put out. If that happens, name the feeling in the mind. Feel where it sits. Breathe toward it with gentleness, not force. Say in thought, I notice this anger. I do not have to carry its full heat tonight. Then breathe out slowly and imagine the sensation cooling into a dull ember that no longer burns the hand that holds it. A new image comes to mind. Picture a small cage in a quiet room. Inside sits a bird with a bright breast. The cage keeps the bird safe from danger. It also keeps the bird from moving its wings freely. Forgiveness is the act of opening that little door. Let the bird step out. It does not mean danger vanishes. It does mean that flight is possible again. Watch the bird circle the room and then settle on a branch. The room breathes differently when the cage is open. Often, forgiveness is an offering, not an erasure. Imagine holding a small scarf soaked in cold water. It is heavy and uncomfortable. You place it carefully on a drying rack in the sun. The drying takes time. The scarf keeps its pattern. The wetness fades. The texture changes. You do not pretend the scarf was never wet. You simply allow it to become light again. Give one small, forgiving thought in that way. Let it begin to dry. I guide a brief practice. Take a single name in your mind, one that stirs a tight place. Picture a simple object to send with that name. A lantern. Perhaps a small loaf of bread, a tiny seed. Set the object in a palm in imagination. Hand it across a table to the presence who watches with steady eyes. Do not expect the other person to change. Expect only that the hand that gives will feel less cramped. Let the palm relax. The verse I hold suggests that this giving is not transactional. Forgiveness does not earn a return. It models a way of living that mirrors how mercy has been given. So imagine a mirror placed between 2 chairs. On your side sits what you have received. On the other side sits what you can give. The mirror shows sameness. It invites imitation. To forgive is to step toward the mirror and move in the same direction. Mercy moved toward you once. There may be fear that forgiving makes one vulnerable. That fear is real and wise. To set down a grievance is not to remove boundaries. It is not to invite repeated harm. Picture putting up a fence that marks a garden's edge. The fence keeps the garden safe while still allowing a gate. Forgiveness can open the gate a little while the fence remains. That small opening lets air travel. It does not erase the line that protects. Keep the gate small if that helps. A small gate can be enough. If reconciliation is not possible tonight, that is acceptable. Forgiveness and reconciliation walk together sometimes and walk apart at other times. Tonight's work is forgiveness as release. It is first aid for the heart. It can reduce the weight that keeps sleep from finding the mind. Let the heart measure success in gentleness rather than in outcomes. I invite a second breathing pattern now to deepen the letting. Breathe in for 4. Pause for 2. Breathe out for 7. Make the out-breath long and patient. With each exhale, imagine one thin thread unhooking from the fabric of the chest. Watch the thread curl away and finally drop into soft grass. Repeat 4 times. Each repetition gives more room around the sternum. There will be nights when forgiving feels impossible. On such nights, practice a small act of mercy toward the self. Say nothing aloud. Offer a single kindness to the body. Let the jaw unclench. Loosen the hands on the lap. Allow the spine a gentle release. When the body is easier, the mind follows. Forgiveness becomes a less daunting step. I speak a brief image of communal life now. Imagine a table at twilight. Plate siquier. Candles burn low. Around the table, each person carries a shadow. No one is empty-handed. Yet the table is wide enough for mistakes to rest there without dominating every seat. Forgiveness at that table looks like placing a napkin over a spill and then drawing a chair closer. It is not an erasure of memory. It is a decision to continue sharing bread. If the old stories replay when sleep is near, let them pass like clouds. Watch their shapes shift. Keep attention on the quiet lamp by the bedside. The lamp does not call for argument. It simply keeps its light. Let the lamp be the steady thing in the night. Let forgiveness be like the lamp, steady, persistent, and low enough to warm the hands. Before I close this part, name one small person or one small offense you will forgive tonight. Keep it simple. Keep it tender. Imagine offering that forgiveness as a small ribbon. Tie it lightly around your wrist. The ribbon does not bind you. It reminds you of the choice you made. Wear it for one night. See how the chest widens by dawn. I leave a short benediction. May the mercy you received become the pattern you share. May release make room in the heart. May sleep come without the weight of rehearsed grievances. Tonight, let forgiveness be a small lamp that frees the hands to rest. I step back in voice and let the room keep its hush. Stay with the breath pattern if the mind returns to earlier hurts. Use the images as small tools, the rope you unbind, the kite you loosen, the bird you let out. I will return in the next reading. For now, breathe slowly, rest gently, and allow the quiet to do its work. I come close in voice and let the room settle around the sound. My words lower like a curtain. The pace is slow. The aim is calm. Tonight I hold a single, simple truth. Grace is near. Grace whispers. It is not loud. It does not demand a paragraph of proof. It leans close. It offers welcome with open arms. Hear that welcome like someone who sits quietly at the bedside. No explanations. Only presence. Receive it as a gift placed gently in the palm. I paint a small picture. Imagine a hand reaching across a small table. The hand holds a wrapped thing. The wrapping is plain. The ribbon is loose. The offering is free. There is no list of merits on the label. The giver does not tally worth. The only instruction is to accept. Let the eyes follow that hand. Let the chest answer with a softening breath. Grace arrives as a whisper and as a garment. Picture a thin shawl dropped over tired shoulders. The shawl does not press. It simply covers enough to warm. It moves like a breeze that finds the neck and settles there. Tension loosens. The body remembers how to yield. I read now from a passage that has soothed many nights. It speaks not of demands, but of being made alive. The words say that life can begin again, where it feels finished. Think of a field in late winter. The ground seems closed. A single green blade appears. It does not shout. It simply grows. That small green is the start of a season. Grace looks like that blade. It is small. It is true. This passage frames grace as a free gift. The gift is not earned by long lists or perfect deeds. It arrives because of love given first. To hold the gift, do not measure it against failings. Lay down the counting. Let the hands open. The opening alone is a movement toward rest. There is an image of being raised from heaviness. Imagine a heavy sack set at your feet. A steady hand lifts it. The lift is not a magic trick. It is a simple action that changes posture. The back straightens. Breath lengthens. The world feels less crowded. Let that lifting happen tonight. Allow one small burden to be handed over and set aside. The passage also speaks of a building. Stones are placed one on another. A cornerstone gives shape. The structure is not a fortress for a perfect life. It is a home for the wounded. Each stone matters. The weak pieces are included. The building takes shape by gentle care, not by force. Picture a house being repaired slowly. A board here, a coat of paint there. The work is steady and quiet. The house becomes a dwelling fit to rest in. Imagine yourself as one of those stones held, set, and given a place. There is tender talk of peace in the lines I read. Walls that once separated, people grow low. Bridges form instead of barriers. Picture a river that once split two fields. People on both banks plant flowers, and then draw a narrow plank between them. Two hands meet along that plank. They do not erase the past. They begin anew. Let the heart breathe with that image. The night can hold reconciliation in small ways. Accepting such grace does not erase the honesty of pain. Pain stays like a scar. The presence that gives grace knows the scar. It lays no pressure for quick forgetting. It sits with the scar and warms it. The warmth does not make the memory vanish. It helps the skin soften around it. Allow that gentleness to work in the places that still ache. I guide a simple breath now. Inhale slowly for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale gently for 6. Breathe in the quiet that says life is possible. Breathe out the tightness that says you must carry everything. Repeat softly. Each cycle loosens the chest an inch at a time. The rhythm is like a small tide that pulls worry a little farther away. Grace invites new habits more than instant miracles. It asks the heart to try on a different posture. Try on the posture of receiving rather than earning. Sit in the chair of acceptance for a while. Notice how the shoulders drop. Notice how the jaw unclenches. This posture is not lazy. It is restful work. It teaches the body how to accept care. I bring a gentle image of identity. The passage suggests that being alive in grace changes the story. You are not only the sum of past mistakes. You are a person being remade. Slowly and steadily, Consider a potter shaping clay. The clay looks rough at first. With patient hands, it becomes vessel. The maker does not erase the clay's history. The potter uses it. Grace works like that, forming, not erasing, shaping, not condemning. There is also a quiet reminder that this gift calls for response, but not a response of anxiety. The call is simply to step closer. Imagine a lamp placed at the edge of a dark path. The lamp asks no finishing of your packing. It only asks that you walk toward the light one step at a time. Take that step now in the imagination. Feel the ground accept the foot. Peace and grace lead toward community, not isolation. The passage I read pictures many people built into one dwelling. Different hands, different pasts. One quiet home. Imagine several lights around a table. The lights do not compete. They shine together. The table holds bread enough for all. If a name enters the mind that feels estranged, picture bringing a small piece of bread to that thought and placing it on the table. The offering does not demand change in the other. It frees the hand that holds the bread. If hesitation rises when the idea of accepting grace is mentioned, that is natural. Wariness can feel like protecting an old wound. Do not force the feeling away. Notice it. Breathe toward it. Say nothing aloud. Let the breath and the image do the work. Small shifts are enough for tonight. I will read once more in a slow line. The passage assures that grace arrived to meet the wearied and the wandering. It does not ask for lists or proofs. It welcomes the tired. Receive that welcome, like a soft chair, placed exactly where the shoulders need it. Sit. Let the breath lengthen. Let the eyelids grow heavy if they will. Before you step back, try one small exercise. Close the eyes gently. Place the hand over the heart. Name one small thing you will accept as a gift tonight. A warm blanket. A kind memory. A reprieve from a replayed thought. Do not make it large. Keep it tender. As you breathe out, imagine placing that small gift into the hand that holds it. Feel the hand in yours. Steady and steady. Trust a little. Let the chest soften. I leave a short benediction in the hush. May grace find the places you keep closed. May the gift settle without pressure. May peace walk in like a slow friend and sit down for a long while. The night keeps watch. Rest is kind. Mercy moves in small steps. Hope remains. I will pause now in sound. The room has space for sleep to come. If wakefulness stays, return to the image of the wrapped gift. Unfold it slowly in the mind. Let the shawl drop on the shoulders again. When the next part begins, I will read another passage that carries the same gently steady assurance. For now, breathe, accept, and rest. I invite a querer breath now. Imagine each breath as an inlet of calm. Each inhalation brings a small gift. Each exhalation lets something go. The breath is a soft conveyor. It carries peace into places that feel tense. I lower the voice and slow the line of words. The pace is like walking at evening. There is no rush. There is no need to solve anything. The work here is to place peace into the body. The work is gentle. Place a hand on the belly if that feels safe. Notice how it moves when air comes in. Notice how it settles when air goes out. Imagine the breath as a seed. When it arrives, it plants an inch of peace under the ribs. The seed sits in warm soil. It does not have to grow fast. It only needs the small kindness of presence. Breathe with me. In for 4, hold 2, out for 6. The rhythm is slow. With each in-breath, picture a pale light moving down the throat and into the chest. With each out-breath, picture a shadow of worry lifting a little. Let the light rest in the lungs as if in a small nest. Now imagine that light moving lower. It slides behind the breastbone and warms the belly. The warmth feels like a cup held at the stomach. It loosens the knot of hunger, the knot of worry about tomorrow. The breath settles the center. The center remembers it can be still. Turn attention to the hands. Clench them gently and let go. Feel the difference. The breath moves into the palms like a pool of calm. Imagine that calm soaking into the thin skin of the hands. The fingers soften. The hands rest open as if waiting to receive a quiet thing. They no longer need to grip the day. Let the breath travel now along the arms. Each inhalation is a light step. It lights the forearm, travels through the elbow, reaches the shoulder. The exhale loosens held tension. Picture small knots untying in the muscles. A gentle unthreading happens. The arms become comfortable with being at the sides. Bring the breath to the feet. Imagine the soles as the ground of a small house. Each in-breath fills them with a steady, cool light. Each out-breath returns warmth to the earth. The feet remember stillness. They rest in the present. There is nothing to do but be carried. When peace moves this way, it does not erase memory. It sits beside memory like a neighbor who brings tea. The neighbor does not demand answers. She simply stays. The presence I read of in the passages tonight is that neighbor. It does not count wrongs. It knows the weight, and it brings a seat. Think of peace as something embedded, like a seed that roots slowly, like a stitch that holds a seam. With every breath, the stitch is placed in a small place, the throat, the collarbone, the lower back. The stitches are gentle. They do not pull tight. They support. I read now, softly, in the manner of a bedside word. The text I hold promises a peace that finds its way into the center of the body. It is not a peace that depends on tidy answers. It is not a peace that judges the long list of failures. It is a presence that stays with what is broken and waits. If a thought rises that you cannot carry this peace, notice it as you would a passing bird. Do not shoo it roughly. Watch it cross the sky. Return attention to the breath. Let the inhalation be a new placing of a tiny stone of calm. Let the exhalation be the river that carries small bits of the day away. Place attention on the throat. Now, the throat often holds words unsaid and apologies rehearsed. Breathe in and imagine a soothing oil settling at the back of the neck. The oil cools. The jaw loosens. The tongue rests. The breath becomes quieter through the mouth. There is a small clearing where speech does not need to be formed. Scan gently to the shoulders. They carry hours. Let the breath travel like a hand laid across the top of the back. The hand does not press. It simply supports. With each out-breath, let one small portion of weight fall away. Notice the shoulders releasing by the width of a breath. Permission to unwind is given with each exhale. If the mind clings to the list of what must be done tomorrow, imagine laying those items as stones on a low table by the door. Each stone has a name. For tonight, choose one small stone and place it on the table. Close the little wooden box that sits beside the table and know the stone rests there under watch. The rest of the stones can wait. I speak now of forgiveness. Again, but lightly. Forgiveness acts like a soft cloth placed over a wound. It keeps the cold out while the healing begins. That cloth is not made by effort alone. It is given and received. To receive it is permission to sleep without the constant picking of an old scab. Consider a simple prayer in the quiet. It need not be elaborate. A single sentence is enough. Say it in the heart. Thank you for keeping watch. The words are small. The presence hears. They are not a performance. They are a small act of handing over as the breath settles. Imagine the peace moving deeper yet. It travels behind the ribs, into the small cavities of the liver and the gut. It rests in places where grief or worry has pooled. The peace there is like warm water poured slowly into a dry cup. The water does not overflow. It soothes the inside of the cup and makes space. Picture your life as a map with many routes. Tonight, choose the gentle route. It is lined with soft stones and little lanterns. The lanterns mark small mercies. Walk that route in the imagination. Each lantern is a moment when kindness appeared a nod on a hard day. A cup handed over. A door held open. Let those lanterns glow near the ribs. There is a tenderness in the lines I read. They name a love that has no ledger. This love meets the worn and the wandering. It stays. It does not require a list of good deeds. It comes with steady hands. Let that thought sit like a coin under the breastbone. It can be small and true. Return to the breathing for a few cycles. Breathe in 4. Hold 2. Breathe out 7. Make the out-breath the longest part. With each prolonged exhale, imagine the calm sinking deeper. It nests in the bones. It moves into the joints. It anchors. If sleep comes, let the images drift into dreams. If wakefulness remains, keep the images as tools. Use the breathing and the picture of the seed, the lantern, the neighbor with tea. They are soft instruments to steady the night. Place the attention now on any soreness or ache. Picture a warm hand there. The hand does not demand explanation. Its warmth is a small act of mercy. With the next out-breath, let the warmth press in for a moment, and then rest. Release the scenes of criticism. Hold what soothes. I remind gently, peace is not an absence of trouble. It is a companion through trouble. It fits into the cracks and holds there. Like mortar, it does not remove the bricks. It keeps the walls standing. Tonight, let the mortar thicken a little in the places that leak. Think of the heart as a small room. The room may have marks on its walls, paint does not erase the marks, it softens them. The breath is like a slow brush stroke. Each inhalation touches the wall. Each exhalation smooths the edge. The room becomes easier to be in. I place a quiet benediction now, not in a loud tone, but as a close. May this peace be rooted in the bones. May it sit gently beneath the ribs. May it steady the hands that will wake to tend tomorrow. Let mercy be the quiet roof over the small house of the heart. Let hope be a small ember that does not demand attention. Stay with one last breath. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 8. Let the exhale be a long tide that carries the day away. Feel the weight lift an inch. Notice the chest soften and the shoulders bow. The night keeps watch. The breath keeps company. When I return in the next part, I will read another gentle passage that invites more rest. For now, allow the peace to nest where it has been placed. Let the body sink if it will. If sleep arrives, accept it. If not, rest in the calm and breathe slowly. I sit with the quiet and keep watch with you. The lamp in the story dims. The presence remains. Sleep, when it comes, finds a home in that steadiness. I will come back soon. I draw the room into a softer hush. The voice lowers to a tone that feels like fabric folding. Light in the voice is thin and slow. The body hears first. The mind follows. I hold a short verse now and let it speak slowly. Its promise is simple. A peace given by God moves beyond what the mind can hold. That peace watches over the heart and the thoughts. It keeps them safe in Christ Jesus. I do not make the words into a lecture. I let them be a lantern placed by the bedside. Feel the chair or bed settle beneath you. Allow the weight of the day to press into that support. Let the shoulders drop an inch. Let the jaw soften. A soft inhale comes. A long exhale goes. I keep sentences short, so breath has room between them. Silence sits like a cushion. Imagine a small garden gate at dusk. The gate swings shut without clatter. It clicks softly. Night winds do not blow through the hinges. Inside the gate a small lamp glows. It does not need to be bright. It simply makes the next step clear. God's peace is like that lamp and like that gate. It does not remove the dark. It marks a protected space within it. I read the promise again in a slow line of words. The peace of God is not a tidy answer to every worry. It is a presence that reaches past the questions. It stands at the rim of the heart and keeps watch. Let the idea rest there without having to be explained. Often the feeling of being guarded is enough to let the body let go. Breathe with me. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 6. Keep the counting gentle. Let the out-breath be longer than the in. Each cycle is a small tide that draws a little of the day away. With each exhale, imagine the lamp inside the gate, burning a calm light across the chest. The light warms the sternum. Muscles around the ribcage loosen. Picture a sentinel willow planted by a quiet stream. Its branches hang low. They make a soft curtain that moves without noise. The willow watches over the water. It does not shout warnings. It only bends and holds. The heart is under such a willow tonight. The branches do not press. They shade and shelter. The breath moves beneath them like slow water. If the mind objects, the piece must make sense before it will settle. Notice the objection gently. Do not argue with it. Place it like a pebble on a table beside the bed. The presence of peace does not require the pebble to be picked up. It keeps the pebble company without needing to prove a point. Let the chest accept that mystery can be gentle. There may be tight places where worry collects, perhaps under the collarbone, perhaps in the hollow of the throat. Bring attention to one small place. Breathe into it as if pouring a little warm water there. The warmth does not scald. It simply eases the tightness. With the out-breath picture, a thin veil of peace settling over that place. An unseen guard that softens and holds. I offer a short image of guarding that is quiet and kind. Imagine a small glass bell set over a sleeping plant. The bell keeps out the heavy winds while allowing light and air to pass. The plant breathes under the bell. Its leaves do not thrash. The brain does not have to keep arguing all night. The bell is the peace that watches without quarrel. Bring to mind one worry you have carried today. Do not go deep with it. Give it a small name in the mind. Take that tiny worry in imagination and place it into a small bowl. Set the bowl on a low shelf. The shelf belongs to the one who keeps watch. The bowl will be tended. You do not have to hold it every hour. Notice the relief in the hands and the chest when the burden is set down. There is comfort in small symbols, a knitted shawl draped over the shoulders, a soft stone at the bedside, a steady chair by a window. Choose one symbol now. Let it stand for the guarding peace. When the thought of tomorrow rises, take the symbol into the mind instead. Let it answer the thought with gentleness, not with argument. I speak of mind and heart together. The verse I read names both. The mind can be loud, rehearsing problems. The heart can feel hollow or heavy. The peace that passes understanding does not erase either. It moves between them and guards both. Picture a bridge that runs low and steady between two banks. Footsteps cross safely. The river of worry keeps flowing below. But passage is possible. Allow a breathing pattern that supports that image. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. With each inhale, imagine stepping onto the bridge. With each exhale, imagine reaching the other side a little easier. The breath is a companion for the crossing. Sometimes the guarding looks like a quiet watchman who keeps vigil through the night. He does not bang on doors. He simply sits by the hearth and watches the flames. His presence keeps the house secure. Feel the same presence settle just behind the sternum. You do not have to see the watchman. Feel the steadiness. If thoughts return, name them as visitors and show them to the door. No need for harshness. A polite gesture is enough. The guard does not shout. He opens the door and lets the visitor go. The gate clicks closed again. The light returns to its slow glow. The promise also allows for tenderness toward failure. The heart has 1,000 small faults. The guard does not tally them. It keeps the heart safe, so healing can begin. Imagine a child who falls and is lifted without a lecture. The arms that lift are steady. The child calms and breathes. Let that gentle lifting be the picture when memory brings sharpness. I offer a brief practice of handing over. Pick one small worry. Hold it in the mind for a breath. Place it on an imagined palm that rests near the heart. Close your fingers in thought and then open them. Let the worries slide away like a leaf on slow water. Trust the one who keeps watch to catch the leaf if it needs catching. There is a soft mercy in the idea that peace is not our work to manufacture. It is a gift that arrives while the hands are empty. Accepting the gift is a small act of courage. It means loosening the grip on the day. If only for a night. Practice that looseness now. Let the hands rest in the lap. Let the jaw soften. Let the eyes lower. I read the promise again in a single quiet sentence and let it sink. God's peace, beyond understanding, guards your heart and your thoughts in Christ Jesus. Hear the line as a bedside word. Let it land like a hand on the shoulder. It does not demand a reply. Pause with a long breath. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 8. Let the exhale be the longest, yet imagine the guard drawing a faint, protective circle around the ribs. The circle is not a wall. It is a border of light that keeps worry from crowding too close. Before I step back into silence, take a single gentle action. Name one small thing you will let the guarding peace hold tonight. Speak it in the heart. Place it into the imagined shelter. Close the quiet gate. Let the lamp glow. The hands and the chest are lighter by the width of a breath. I leave a short benediction in the hush. May the peace that surpasses understanding rest in the bones. May it guard the heart and the mind through the hours. May the night watch be steady and kind. Sleep. When it comes, we'll find a home under that guard. I will sit quietly until the room breathes with rest. When the next part begins, more passages will come. For now, let the lamp stay. Let the gate hold. Let the breath keep company. I invite you now to picture a sea in motion. The sky is low. Waves climb and fall. Wind shapes the surface into ridges. The boat rocks underfoot. The world feels urgent and loud. I keep my voice small. It moves like a lantern near the rail. Each word is a slow step on a wet deck. I do not hurry the image. I let it grow with the breath. Imagine the spray on the face. Salt tastes faint on the lips. The rope at the helm creaks. The hands that hold it are steady, but they feel tired. The knuckles have small whitened lines from the pull. Notice the weight of that handful of rope. Notice the wear in the shoulders. Now imagine a presence walking out along the quay. It is not a glare of light. It is a calm that comes near like a hand laid on the prow. The presence speaks to the wind and to the water. The voice is not loud. It is a word moved deliberately. The wind listens. The waves begin to fold into themselves. Motion becomes measured. The boat steadies. I read a short passage that has steadied many storms. It tells of a moment when the sea hears a simple command and grows quiet. The story is gentle. It is like watching someone lay a palm on a troubled child's head and say, "Be still." The sea answers. The wind finds its place. The boat sleeps in a new rhythm. Place one hand on the chest now. Feel the heart under the palm. It has been quick with the day's rush. Let the breath move where the sea now moves. Breathe in as the wave lifts. Hold as the swell turns. Breathe out as the crest falls and the water's smooth. Breathe with me. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 6. Time, the breath to the imagined tide. Each inhale fills the belly like water, filling a small cove. Each exhale loosens a knot deeper than the shoulders. The out-breath is longer. It pulls the busier thoughts out to sea. The scene shifts a little. The boat now finds a small bay. The harbour mouth narrows. The water here is kinder. A mooring line is thrown. It finds the cleat with a soft sound. The line hums as it tightens. The vessel rocks once, then twice. The motion becomes a measured breath. The crew rests their hands and looks out over still water. Picture an anchor dropped in that bay. It descends slowly. The chain makes a steady clink as it slips free. The seabed receives the anchor. The ship no longer drifts. The body no longer needs to fight the current. The anchor holds. Imagine a lamp swinging at the mast. It sways but does not rattle wildly. Its glow washes the deck in a warm oval. The glow does not ask for answers. It simply makes the next small step visible. Walk toward that glow in the imagination. Let the feet feel the slant of the timber. Let the breath match the rhythm of the lamp. There is a short passage I read that gives a small promise. It says the one who calms the sea is near to the weary. The promise is not a list of how or why. It is a simple staying. Imagine that promise like a blanket folded on the companion's bench. It waits. When hands grow chill, the blanket is there. Now bring attention to the throat. It often holds a tightness from words left unsaid. Breathe into that place. Imagine the tide coming in to wash the throat with warm water. The water does not rinse out memory. It softens the clench. The jaw unclenches. The voice rests. If fear rises with the wave, do not fight the fear. Notice it. Name it quietly in the mind. Is it a cold at the base of the skull? A flinch in the belly? Breathe toward that feeling with kindness. Let the out-breath take a small piece of the heat out to the edge of the sea. Watch it thin as the current carries it. Think of mercy as a life ring thrown from the quay. It lands near the boat and rides the swell. Someone reaches for it, perhaps clumsy with salt-stiff fingers. The ring does not demand answers. It simply takes the weight of the moment. Allow yourself to take hold of that mercy. Even if the grip is small and uncertain, let the ring keep you afloat for a while. There is a quiet image of a child on the deck looking out at the calm. The child's hair is wet. The cheeks are still pinched from the wind. A hand rests at the child's shoulder. No words are needed. Presence alone steadies the gaze. The child breathes slowly and follows the horizon with softer eyes. Let your inner child find that hand tonight. I guide a brief breathing cycle with a picture of oars folding. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 6. Each out-breath is an oar dipping and lifting. Each in-breath gathers a small reserve. The rhythm is steady and forgiving. Let the shoulders lower a notch with each complete cycle. There may be a sense that the sea will call again. storms return. Sometimes, without warning, the harbour does not deny that fact. It prepares quietly. Life in the harbour includes both storms and stillness. The promise is that help comes in both states. The presence that steadies the water is also the presence that waits at the quay when the storm passes. Imagine now a small crew sharing a simple meal. The plates are warm. The bread is not ornate. The conversation is low. Laughter leaks out in brief bits like light. No one pretends the voyage is finished. They simply rest for the hour. Let that scene sit near the ribs like a small warming stone. If old regrets tug at the anchor line, picture each regret as a small stone placed in a net. The net is lowered and then untied. The stones are not ignored. They sink gently to the ocean floor. They remain there, but they no longer weigh the boat. The deck feels lighter. So does the breath. There is a line from Scripture I read softly. It tells of a presence that calls the weary and promises rest. The language is not heavy. It is a bedside word. Receive it as you would receive water after a long watch. Drink slowly. Let the coolness settle in the belly. Turn attention to the palms. Lay them loose on the knees. Feel the small sheen of the deck in the mind's eye. The hands no longer need to hold the rope so tight. Let the fingers spread like leaves on calm water. The arms soften into the lap. The shoulders fall away from the ears. Imagine a shoreline with pebbles. The tide scours them smooth over long seasons. The edges that once jabbed now lie round and pleasant beneath the sole. Consider the long work of nights and forgiveness like that, slow polishing. It is steady. It needs time. It will come in small measures. Breathe with me once more. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 8. Make this out-breath gentle and long. Let it be like a line of foam pulling back from the sand. With the exhale, imagine the last sharp edge of the day lifting and moving seaward. Let it go without argument. If sleep comes now, let it be welcomed. The mind can carry the harbour picture into dreams. The waves will continue their slow patterns there. If wakefulness stays, keep the image of the lamp and the anchor. Use them like small tools to steady any returning tide. I leave a simple benediction in the hush. May the sea inside you grow still. May mercy meet the spray and make it soft. May hope sit near the ribs like a lamp in the night. The presence that calms the waters, watches the watchful. Rest is not an absence of care. It is acceptance of help. I will pause now in voice and let the silence be long enough for sleep to come. When the next part begins, I will return with another gentle passage. For now, breathe slowly. Stay by the lamp and let the harbour keep you safe. The boat rocks once more in the mind. The rhythm of the waves is familiar now. The spray still tastes of salt. A hand rests on the rail. Breath follows the motion. I hold a small passage from the story of the sea. It tells of a moment when the wind and the water obey. A simple word. The voice in the telling is gentle. It is not a shout. It is calm and steady. The sea answers. The storm falls into quiet. Hear that promise, not as a lecture, but as an image. Imagine the voice coming across the water. It is a soft command that feels like a skilled hand smoothing a blanket. The roughness at the edges of the day yields. The motion slows. The heart follows the sea. Place your palm on the chest. Feel the quick rhythm there. Let attention rest on that simple beating. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out longer. Each out-breath is an invitation for the sea inside to find its level. I do not repeat the exact words from the story. I let their effect rest in the room. The point is not a recitation. The point is an experience of stilling. The one who calmed stormy waters reaches toward the same unrest in us. That reach is a presence more than a principle. Picture the boat drifting in a cove. The waves flatten like folded cloth. The sky keeps its hush. The crew leans back and lets the rope loosen. Tension leaves the shoulders. A new steadiness takes the place of the old strain. Let that steadiness move into the sternum. There is a small exercise I offer now. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. Match the breathing to the imagined tide. Each exhale lowers the crest of an inner wave. Do this 3 times. Each cycle makes a little more space behind the ribs. If the mind insists on replaying the storm, do not push it harshly. Notice the images as one notices clouds. Name them softly. Let the naming be brief. Return to the slow tide of the breath. The sea in the imagination needs only a quiet steward. The breath is that steward. Think of the voice that calms the sea as a gentle presence beside you. It stands at the rail, and its tone asks for peace. The request is not thin. It is powerful, tender, and patient. Picture that presence reaching for the place where worry tightens the chest. Feel a soft pressure like a hand laid there. The tension loosens. There may be fear that quiet will leave you vulnerable. That fear is real and wise. A still sea can be beautiful and unsettling at once. Note the sensation. Breathe toward it kindly. Let the exhale carry a small portion of the heat away. The steady presence beside the rail does not remove the truth of fear. It simply keeps company with it until the edges dull. Now imagine an anchor dropped into the shallow bay. It takes a little time to find purchase. The chain makes a measured sound. That sound is not alarming. It is the noise of settling. The vessel no longer needs to fight the current. The body, likewise, can stop fighting its own tide. Allow a heaviness to settle into the seat beneath you. It is not collapse. It is receiving. There is a small image of voice as a lamp. The voice that calms the sea is like a lamp that moves across a room and makes shadows soft. It does not expose all things. It simply shows what to touch next. Visualize that lamp passing slowly along the collarbone, then the throat, then the chest. The light warms each place, and the muscles respond by letting go. I offer a brief practice with the fingers. Hold each finger for a moment between thumb and forefinger. Then release. Start with the thumb and move across the hand. Each small release is a tiny stilling. The habit of clenching loosens when the hands know they may relax. The fingers become a teaching ground for larger peace. Recall a small, specific worry rather than a sprawling list. Give it a short name in the mind. Picture holding it like a coin in a small palm. Move that coin to the rail beside the lamp. Set it down. Do not demand that the coin vanish. Let the presence at the rail keep an eye on it. The simple act of placing the worry aside is a small miracle for the nervous system. There is mercy in the story. Mercy does not fix everything at once. It shows up as a hand placed on a shuddering shoulder. It steadies breath and makes possible the next small step. Receive that mercy like a blanket laid across the knees. It covers the raw part. It warms before it teaches. Let it be enough. If sleep resists, return to the tide image. Watch the waves move. Watch them find a slower curve. Let the in-breath rise with a lifting swell. Let the out-breath fall as the water settles. The mind need not perform. It only needs witness. Witnessing does not force peace. It invites it. There may be memories that pull at the rope. They tug and demand to be retold. You do not have to respond to every pull. Imagine an attentive hand on the cleat that lets a little line go at a time. The hand does not ignore the tug. It moderates it. This choice to moderate is mercy in action. Use it tonight for the stories that replay. I keep my voice low now. Each sentence becomes shorter. Each pause becomes longer. Silence sits between images like deep water. It gives room for what has been spoken to sink into the heart. The quiet is part of the deliverance. Let it do its work. Picture a small crew sharing silence beside a warm lamp. No one forces words. Hands rest on guineas. Bread is passed quietly. Laughter leaks out in soft bits. The simple presence of another steady person is as calming as any command to the sea. Human steadying is a small echo of the larger steadiness that calms storms. If you wish, place a hand on the sleeping place of the heart now. Breathe in slowly. Trace the outline of the sternum with your awareness. On the out-breath, imagine the voice that calms the sea moving across that spot. It does not need to be heard aloud. It is a felt assurance. Stillness is possible. There is no demand to be perfect. The sea calmed without being told to be better. The water did not promise to be different forever. It simply obeyed the voice in that moment. Let that pattern be a small lesson. Perfection is not required for relief. A single invitation accepted will do for tonight. One more breathing cycle together. In for 4, hold for 2. Out for 8. Make the exhale soft and slow. Imagine the out-breath as the sea pulling back to reveal a clean shore. Watch the day's sharp edges wash out with it. Before you step back into silence, take one small action. Name one brief worry in the mind. Place it into the imagined palm at the rail. Leave it there. Walk inward from the rail toward the lamp. Sit in the glow. Let the chest warm. Allow the shoulders to release an inch more. I close this part with a quiet benediction in the hush. May the same voice that stilled the sea bend gently toward the places that toss you most. May mercy meet the places of agitation. May rest find its way like an anchor into calm water. The night keeps vigil. Let the breath and the image be your tools until sleep arrives. I will return with another gentle passage. For now, keep the lamp near and the harbor in mind. Let the breath steady the boat. Let the heart feel the hand at the rail. Rest, if it will. If not, hold the image and breathe. I stay with the hush until the room is softer. I come close in voice and invite a gentle look back over the day. Settle deeper, if you can. Let your spine find its most comfortable curve. Breathe soft and slow. The hour is quiet enough to notice small things. I ask you to notice one plain moment from today. No grand scene, a single breath, a door held open, a quiet apology given or received. The moment might be almost invisible now. Bring it into the light of attention. Let it sit in the palm of the mind. I do this with you. I do not offer a checklist. I offer a lamp. The lamp is steady. It helps us see the small mercies that pass too fast. See one grace. Name it simply in thought. Hold it for 2 slow breaths. Take a breath now. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 6. Imagine the inhale as a thread drawing the moment near. The exhale lays it gently on the table of memory. The act is small. The effect is real. The chest relaxes a fraction. I move you gently through the day in parts. Start with the morning. What small grace opened the day? A warm cup. A moment of sun at the window. A mercy that felt like a quiet nod. Pause there and let gratitude sit for one beat. Now move to the middle of the day. Where did forgiveness touch you, or someone near you? Perhaps a hurried word was softened. Perhaps a small apology arrived later than needed, but arrived nonetheless. Let that small easing be seen and held. It does not have to be perfect. It only needs to be noticed. Turn then to the closing hours. Where did hope show itself in a tiny way? A kind gesture. An idea that did not resolve everything, but made a corner of the day lighter. Name it without argument. Let it glow just enough to warm the ribs. If the mind resists the search as if it were a test, watch that resistance kindly. Notice how the thought tightens around the sternum. Breathe into it as you would into a cramped shoulder. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 6. The body loosens. The scrutiny softens. I read to you quietly now, not as a lecture, but as an offering. The passage I choose speaks softly of mercy shown in small deeds. It says that kind acts and gentle words matter, even when they go unnoticed by the crowd. Hear that as a bedside word. Let it remind you that a single small mercy shapes more than a roar of virtue. The reading does not ask you to prove anything. It asks you to receive a truth. Bring one overlooked mercy forward in your mind. Imagine it like a paper left on a table. It may have a smudge. It may be folded. Pick it up with care. Smooth it out in the hands of your awareness. See the handwriting. Let the letters be clear enough to read with the heart. Now think of forgiveness that might have been offered but not seen. Maybe you gave it. Maybe it was given to you. Maybe neither happened fully. Forgiveness lives in tiny acts, sometimes letting a small offense go in conversation. Choosing not to rehearse a wrong tonight, or answering anger with a soft word. Name one small forgiving act. Even if it was only thought. Hold that too for 2 breaths. I guide a short exercise. Take 3 small things from today, 3 tiny mercies or moments of forgiveness. Place them side by side in the mind. Let them look ordinary. Give each one a single word, warm, soft. Geht. Say those words in thought. Let them echo once and then rest. There is grace in remembering in this way. Grace often moves where the world is busy. It slips past the hurry and sits at the edge of a day like a small coin. Picking up that coin matters. It buys peace for the moment. It does not demand an accounting of the whole life. One coin is enough to warm a hand for now. If regret comes forward as you do this, do not push it away with force. Name the regret, and then place it beside the 3 small mercies. Let the mercy light touch the regret. Imagine a soft cloth laid over a sharp thing. The cloth does not erase the cut, but it protects it while healing begins. I read another quiet line now. It speaks of the one who notices even the smallest acts of kindness. The language is low and intimate. It says that mercy is kept like a treasure and remembered in ways we do not always see. Hear this as reassurance. You need not make a parade of your small mercies. They are significant simply for being given. Ask yourself a soft question. Where do I need to offer myself a small forgiveness tonight? Maybe it is for a failure to speak kindly. Maybe it is for being too hard on decisions made under pressure. Speak nothing aloud unless you wish. Name it in the heart. Then take one slow breath and let the out-breath carry a small portion of the weight away. I suggest a tiny ritual to finish this reflection. Bend the fingers together lightly. Imagine the small mercies gathered there like pebbles, one by one. Lay them into an imagined bowl. Do not try to smooth out the biggest stone. Leave it a little rough. The bowl will hold whatever you bring. The holding is the gift. There is also a short practice of offering forgiveness. Picture a small lamp beside a figure who keeps rest. Approach the figure slowly with a single small object that represents your intended forgiveness, perhaps a leaf, perhaps a ribbon. Place it by the lamp. The figure accepts it without a ledger. The act of placing is itself a mercy. Let the body register the letting. I read a brief scripture-centered thought. It reminds us that mercy meets the worn and the wandering, that forgiveness can begin with a single small gesture and grow quietly across nights. The thought is not a teaching at length. It is a bedside comfort. Mercy is active in the small things. Let that settle. If you feel hesitant to accept mercy for yourself, notice that hesitance is a guarded place. Breathe toward it. Put one hand over the heart. Speak nothing. Feel the palm warm. The warmth is permission. It is a small, physical sign that receiving is allowed. I will give a final breathing pattern for this reflection. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 8. Make the out-breath the longest part. With each out-breath, imagine the day laying down like a cloth on a table. The edges fold in. The weight eases. Do this 3 times. Each cycle returns attention to chest and breath. Before you step back, make one quiet vow to yourself. It need not be grand. Promise to look for one small mercy tomorrow. Promise to name one overlooked kindness aloud if the chance appears. Small vows are steady. They teach the heart to look. I close this part with a short benediction. May the mercies of today sit like warm stones against the ribs. May any forgiveness you owe or need arrive in small measures and steady hands. May hope settle as a low ember near the sternum. The night holds these things tenderly. When the next part opens, I will read again with the same soft pace. For now, keep the breath slow. Let the remembered mercies rest in the bowl at your side. If sleep comes, let these small treasures drift into your dreams. If wakefulness remains, return to them when the mind stirs. I sit here in the hush and will come back soon. Psalm 4, 610. Be still and know that He is God. Let this stillness cradle your mind as you find rest. I lower my voice and hold that verse like a small lamp. I do not explain. I let the words settle. The stillness is an invitation, not a test. I picture it as a shallow pool. The surface is quiet. It reflects a slow sky. Breathing lands there like small stones. Each ripple fades. Now I turn to the work of inviting the Holy Spirit. I keep no loud language. I use a simple picture. I imagine a gentle wind that moves through an open window at dusk. It does not push. It passes and leaves a hush. I picture that wind as the presence that comes to sit beside the heart. It is near without pressure. It is warm without heat. I speak slowly. I imagine the Holy Spirit as breath that does small things. Breath cools a fevered face. Breath grows steady in a tired chest. Breath is a companion that arrives when words are thin. Let the image rest in the room. No theology crowds it. The presence is immediate and quiet. I invite a small practice. I breathe in the image of a clean breeze. I imagine it moving from the crown of the head down along the spine. It pauses at the rib cage and breathes softly into the space behind the sternum. Each inhale brings a little more ease. Each exhale lets one thin worry slip away. The pattern is gentle and steady. I read a short line in my mind. Not to argue, but to hold the Spirit comes as a helper, a comfort, a presence. Hear that like a bedside hand, the helper does not rush the night. It simply stays and watches the breathing. Picture a lamp in the corner. The lamp keeps light on the next small step. The Spirit's nearness looks like that lamp. I ask the hands to rest. I let the fingers unfold. I imagine the wind lifting each finger like a slow note. The muscles around the knuckles unwind. The breath flows into the palms. The palms become aware of receiving rather than grasping. Receiving is a small act. It takes no lists. It asks only for openness. I guide a breathing pattern that fits this theme. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. Place attention on the area just beneath the collarbone. Let the in-breath collect peace there. Let the out-breath spread that peace slowly along the shoulders and down the arms. The pattern is not complicated. Repetition does the quiet work. I picture the Holy Spirit as a soft dove in my imagination. Not as a symbol for debate, but as a sign of gentleness. The dove does not burst into a room. It settles on a windowsill. It preens a feather and looks around with calm eyes. Let that calmness move into the chest. Allow it to smooth the edges of the day. There may be resistance. Tiredness can be suspicious of comfort. Angry memory can edge in like winter wind. I notice it without judgment. I breathe toward the place where suspicion sits. The breath warms that corner a degree. The presence that I invite does not force the suspicion away. It rests beside it. In that rest, the edge blunts. I hold a simple image of water poured slowly into cupped hands. The water is not cold. It is like morning rain. The hands do not hold the water tightly. They let some pass through. The passing does not mean waste. It means the hands are learning to receive and let go at once. I let that image sit in my mind for 2 breaths. I speak a small line about guidance. The spirit often moves like a low voice that suggests, not a trumpet that commands. It points rather than pushes. Imagine a faint glow at the foot of a stair. It makes the next step visible, not the whole climb. That small glow is enough to steady the foot. Let that be the guide for tonight. I do not press reconciliation or deep insight in this hour. I keep the invitation toward rest. The Spirit helps where rest is needed. It tends the places that ache. It breathes patience into the places that panic. Imagine a hand smoothing a crumpled blanket. The smoothing does not fix every crease. It makes lying down easier. I offer a short, quiet exercise for anyone who wishes to accept this presence. Close the eyes gently. Place one hand over the heart. Feel the pulse there. Breathe in slowly, feeling the hand rise a little with the chest. On the out-breath, release an imagined sigh into the hand. Picture the hand warming the breath like soil warming a seed. Hold the pattern for 3 cycles if it feels helpful. I speak next about truth that comforts rather than scold. The Spirit does not come to add guilt. The presence arrives to bring mercy and to steady hope. Picture a small gate between a noisy street and a quiet yard. The gate shuts softly. The yard is a place to set down burdens. In that yard, the air tastes different. That taste is mercy. I hold a verse lightly in the mind as a picture of shelter. The shelter is low and modest. It has a roof that keeps rain from gathering. Inside, someone sits with a cup of warm drink. The cup is neither grand nor small. It is simply warm. The Spirit sits like that one who keeps the cup near. The presence is steady and kindly. If guilt rises at being invited to receive, remark on the sensation without force. Guilt often sounds like a small recorder of mistakes. Turn a lamp toward that recorder and let the light be soft. The Spirit acknowledges the record without reproducing its harshness. Breath softens the edges where guilt presses most. I imagine the Spirit as a slow current beneath the feet of a standing person. The current does not wash the person away. It supports. It holds. Let the feet stand in that support for a moment. The body remembers what it is to be held by more than its own strength. That memory is a small gift. I guide a further breath pattern to help that memory settle deeper. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 7. Make the exhale long and patient. Picture the presence of the Spirit like a warm wind that tucks the exhale into the space behind the breastbone. Each out-breath lays another soft fold of peace there. I speak about listening. Inviting the Holy Spirit can begin with simply listening. No long prayers. No lists. A quiet listening posture is enough. It looks like closing the hands and letting the head lean. Imagine a child who rests on a parent's shoulder and does not need to speak to be known. The child's rest is enough. I keep my language gentle about work to be done later. The Spirit does not erase the need for human tending. It helps first by making rest possible. Imagine a gardener who waters a plot at night. so the plants would greet morning rested. The watering does not finish the harvest. It prepares the soil. Let that nightly tending be enough for tonight. There is comfort in a small physical ritual, if it helps. A hand placed on the chest, a soft sigh, a whispered word, not as a formal prayer, but as a handing over. The content of the word matters less than the act of letting the chest open. Let that opening be done slowly and without hurry. I read to myself now a short line of assurance. The Spirit is present to comfort, to guide, to steady the weary. Hold that as a bedside word. Let it land like a hand over cold fingers. Notice the temperature shift. Notice the way shoulders drop a little. If fear returns, name it. Do not elaborate. A single label is enough. Then breathe again. Let the imagined wind move the fear to the margin of the mind. It need not be fixed tonight. It can be kept by the presence that watches and waited on gentle arms. I picture the Spirit at the edge of sleep like a guardian who does not wake the sleeper with questions. The guardian tucks the blanket. It does not count the hours. It simply keeps watch. Imagine resting beneath that watch and feel the small lightness that arrives. I guide one last breathing cycle with a slight alteration. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale for 8. Let the exhale be the longest and the softest. With each out-breath, imagine a thin thread untied from a knot in the chest. Watch the knot loosen. The thread rests. Not severed, but eased. I close this part with a benediction that is plain and small. May the Spirit breathe where the chest is tight. May the wind of gentleness pass through the rooms of the heart. May rest arrive without pressure. May mercy cover the edges. May hope remain as a quiet glow. I pause now in a long silence. The pause is part of the prayer. It lets the invitation linger. When I return for the next part, I will carry another gentle passage. For now, I sit with the hush and the low lamp, and I breathe with the presence near the ribs. I feel the room breathe with me. A hush comes near. I picture a dove leaving the quiet sky and coming low. It does not startle. It does not demand. It settles with the soft weight of a feather. The wings move like a small breeze across the forehead. Calm flows where there was clench. A slow reassurance lands in the chest. I do not try to explain it. I only notice how the air changes. The shoulders drop as if by a gentle hand. The jaw loosens a little. A coolness slides behind the sternum. The mind feels allowed to rest. Presence arrives like a light laid over noise. It keeps things simple. I speak softly about that presence now. I do not make it heavy. I let images do the work. Think of a small lamp in a room too full of clutter. The lamp does not sweep the floor. It only shows a little patch of calm. That patch is enough to set the next step. The dove brings that small lamp. The room answers by quieting. I turn to a short list of gentle things the Spirit tends to in us. In my memory, I hold a familiar phrase. It names qualities that arrive quietly and bear their own light. I do not recite in a loud voice. I name them like seeds to be planted. Each seed has a simple image. Love comes first. Love feels like a warm shawl draped over bare shoulders. It does not weigh. It keeps the cold from biting. Love arrives as patient warmth. It stays near the heart. Let your breath rest with that shawl. For one slow inhale, allow the warmth to settle. Joy is small and unexpected. It appears like an ember under a grate. It does not burn the hands. It glows beneath the ash of the day. Joy makes a quiet smile possible. It arrives as a lift at the ribs. Breathe and hold the ember for a moment. Keep the feeling small. Let it be gentle. Peace is a harbor. The sea moves. But the harbor keeps the boat from being tossed. Peace sits like an anchor at the bottom of the chest. It steadies the pulse. It says the night is not all storm. Picture the boat moored. Let the shoulders follow that stillness on the out-breath. Patience grows slowly. It is like the rings inside a tree. Each ring was built in seasons of waiting. Patience does not rush the hour. It keeps watch and does not judge progress. Imagine your own heart with many rings. Breathe into that steady growth. Let the breath be a measure of time that is kind. Kindness looks like a cup offered at twilight. The giver holds no ledger. The cup is warm in small hands. Kindness does not demand a return. It simply appears where hands can reach. Imagine taking a sip from that cup. Let the warmth slide down into the belly. Goodness is steady bread, broken and given. It is not a grand display. It is a piece placed at the table so another can eat. Goodness feeds without counting calories or merit. Picture a loaf on a simple plate. Let your mind rest on the shape of that bread. Taste its quiet comfort in thought. Faithfulness is a lighthouse along a coast. It keeps its lamp despite wind and fog. The light does not roam. It focuses on the path. Faithfulness keeps appointment with the day and with the night. It stands when storms pass through. Picture that lamp and let its direction steady your gaze. Gentleness is a hand laid on a shoulder without pressure. It knows the limits of touch. It does not insist on fixing. It keeps company with what is raw. Let the mind imagine a hand like that. Let the shoulder beneath it unwind. Self-control is a steady captain on a small skiff. He does not thrash the tiller. He holds it with measured strength. Self-control is not a harsh ruler. It is the small choice to steer in a calm direction. Picture the captain's hands. Let your breath match their patience. I name these things slowly. I let each one be a small image to carry. I do not demand that the mind solve everything. I invite a simple noticing. Pick one fruit that seems near tonight. Do not worry if another is farther off. One small fruit is enough for the moment. If you like, breathe a little with each image. Inhale and let the image enter. Pause and let it settle. Exhale and let the image breathe into the body. Keep the sentences of this practice short. Allow the pauses to be long enough for the breath to do its work. I remind myself also that these qualities are not tasks to be finished tonight. They are seeds. They grow in quiet. They often come when the hands are empty and the heart is willing. The spirit tends them gently, not by force. Think of a gardener who waters at evening. The work is patient. The plants do not complain. They learn to open. There may be nights when none of these fruits feel present. That is a true thing. Do not make failure into a measure of worth. Sometimes the soil is still cooling. Sometimes the ground needs rest before it can sprout. Permit yourself an empty hour. Even the field rests. Rest is not wasted. I speak now of how these fruits meet hard places. Love can lay over sharp edges and make them less jagged. Joy can be a small light that keeps grief company. Peace does not pretend the wound is gone. It simply keeps a soft hand near it. Patience lets healing happen in its time. Kindness shows up where blame feels thick. Goodness feeds the tired places. Faithfulness holds long when doubt circles. Gentleness steadies the trembling. Self-control guides a faltering step. Imagine each fruit as a small lamp placed in the room of your interior. They are not bright at once. They are enough. Let one lamp be near the chest tonight. Let it warm a small radius. See how the edges of worry look different in that light. They become less sharp. I offer a brief practice to receive them. Close the eyes gently, if that feels safe. Place one hand over the heart. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out slowly for 6. With each in-breath, name one fruit. Silently love. Joy. Peace. With each out-breath, feel a small settling in the chest. Do this for a few cycles. Let the repetition build a quiet presence. If a hard memory rises while you do this, do not push it away. Name it in the mind. Let the breath soften the edges around it. Offer that memory one of the fruits as a small balm. Maybe you place kindness near it. Maybe you let gentleness sit beside it. The fruit does not fix the memory. It makes room for it to be less fierce. I do not preach rescue by action tonight. I offer a steady assurance. The Spirit's coming is like a dove's landing. It is quiet and true. The fruits are like the dove's feathers, soft, warming, practical in small ways. They do what is needed. They keep you safe enough to sleep. Before I move on, I leave a short invitation. Let one of these images rest in your mind as you breathe. Let it be the companion that meets waking thoughts through the night. If wakefulness returns, return to the same lamp. You do not need new tools. The same small image will do its job again. I will say one gentle thing about the larger life. These fruits grow best where mercy and hope live. Mercy is a field where seeds are planted. Hope is the patient watching. If rest is possible tonight, let these small things take root without pressure. Morning will come. The work of growing is slow, but it is real. As I close this part, I promise to come back with a short reading from the familiar passage that names these fruits. I will read it in a hush. I will keep long pauses between the lines. For now, rest with the picture of the dove, and with one lamp of the heart, let the breath keep company. Take one last long breath with me. In for 4, hold for 2, out for 8. Let the exhale be a slow tide that carries the day a little farther from shore. Feel the chest soften. Notice the steady hush where the dove has landed. When the next part begins, I will read the familiar verse slowly. I will let each word land like a small step. For tonight, keep the lamp near. Let the fruits be small gifts you carry into the dark. The presence keeps watch. Sleep if it will. If not, keep breathing and hold the image close. Feel these fruits growing in your heart as you drift into sleep. I speak slowly now. My voice is low and careful. I invite the mind to imagine an inner orchard. The orchard is small. It fits inside the chest. Trees are spaced kindly. Moonlight moves across their leaves. I picture the first fruit as warmth. It is a deep, steady warmth at the center. Love sits there like ripe fruit. Its skin is soft. When you press it, a small sweetness comes. The taste is simple. It steadies the hands. Joy arrives as a light thing. It is a small bell, hung low on a branch. When a breeze touches it, the bell rings a gentle note. The sound does not demand a smile. It simply lets one travel across the ribs and slow the step. Joy is brief and true. Peace is a slow fruit. It grows out of quiet roots. Its flesh is cool to the touch. Imagine pressing peace and feeling a quiet ripple reach the shoulders. Peace is not the absence of noise. It is the settling of what must be held. Patience sits like a trunk of a small tree. Rings show in its wood. Time is its tutor. Each ring is a season caught and kept. When patience grows, hurried hands learn to rest. Nights stop feeling pressed. Kindness is soft-shelled. It yields easily when touched. It leaves a small impression on the palm. Imagine placing your hand there and feeling the softness spread. Kindness moves into speech like a warmed cup offered without demand. Goodness is hearty. It keeps. It feeds. Picture a loaf tucked into a basket under the tree. Its crust is humble. The bread inside is steady. When goodness grows, small hungers come. Faithfulness roots deep. The roots do not show above the earth. They hold the tree in wind. Even when storms come, the tree keeps its place. Faithfulness is the steady return of presence. Not loud, but true. Gentleness is a feather that lands on the branch. It does not bruise. It teaches touch. When gentleness grows, the hands let go of harshness. Edges soften. Self-control is the rudder at the center of a trunk. It does not rule by force. It simply keeps the tree aligned. Self-control helps choose the next small step rather than reacting. I let each fruit be a small image. I do not demand an orchard overnight. I ask only that you notice the little changes. A single bud is progress. Asingletuste matters. I read to you now the verse that names these fruits. But I read it in a quiet way. I do not parade words. I let them be a slow lamp. I speak the idea with care. The Spirit grows these things in us: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I read it like a soft list of promises. Each name lands and rests. Listen while I say them again. Slowly, allow the syllables time to sink into the ribs. The sounds do not argue. They simply place small seeds. After I speak, I hold a pause. The pause is long enough to breathe in, the pause is long enough to feel. In the quiet, imagine moonlight thickening on the leaves. Dew forms on the fruit. Tiny beads of mercy gather like clear pearls. Now I guide a small practice that tends the orchard. Place your attention on the breath. Breathe in, as if drawing water into a slow bowl. Let the water sink into the roots. Hold the breath softly. Breathe out as if releasing a thin thread to the wind. Each inhale waters. Each exhale prunes. Water the tree of love with the in-breath. Let the out-breath smooth the skin of worry. Water joy with a quick sparkle of attention. Water peace with a long, cool intake. Let patience be watered by slow, unhurried breathing over time. Kindness takes little sips. Goodness deep drinks. Faithfulness is slow and steady watering at dusk. If a branch feels crowded by old doubts, imagine lifting a small pruner. Do not cut harshly. Trim only what blocks new growth. Forgiveness is the careful pruning. It gives room for air and light. You do not prune to punish. You prune to allow fruit to appear. Picture a basket at the foot of the tree. As each fruit ripens, drop it gently into the basket. Do not eat all at once. Save some for mornings when light is thin. The basket collects the small mercies. When hands are empty later, reach in and feel a warm thing. I keep my sentences short, so breath has rooms between them. The images are small and steady. They invite sleep. They do not demand performance. If the mind wanders to hard memories as you tend the orchard, treat those memories like winter branches. Do not deny them. Note their shape. Breathe toward them. Offer gentleness as a wrap. Warm the branch with the thought of a quiet hand. The branch does not have to be unseen. It only needs softer handling tonight. There is also a soft sound in this orchard. It is the sound of gratitude. Small footsteps come across the grass. Each step picks up a leaf and turns it over. The leaf is a blessing. Blessings do not always arrive with trumpets. They often sit at the edge of a day, like a penny in a pocket. Notice one now. I offer a brief breathing pattern that matches the orchard work. Inhale for 4 counts. Imagine drawing water into the bowl. Hold for 2 counts. Let the water settle. Exhale for 6 counts. Picture the water soaking down and spreading. Repeat this pattern 3 times. Each cycle deepens the soil just a little more. The orchard breathes with you. Roots take in what the hands offer. Sap moves. Fruit ripens. The body notices the slow change. The jaw unclenches. The shoulders drop an inch. The hands rest in the lap or at the sides. Sleep finds easier places to land. I speak a quiet benediction over the trees. May they grow in patience. May their branches keep mercy. May the fruit be small and enough. May the harvest teach you to give and to receive without tallying. Now I prepare a soft step toward the next time of closing. The basket is not full. It need not be. 1 fruit is enough for the night. Keep the image of the orchard near. If wakefulness comes, return to this picture. Tend a bud. Drop a fruit into the basket. Let the breath guide the hand. Shitsi. Gratitude and completion. Think of the blessings you experience today. Name one quietly. I begin this next invitation in a hushed tone. I ask you to reach gently through the day and find one thing that felt like a gift. It need not be grand. It can be as small as a warm cup. It can be a word spoken to you. A brief cuillet. The weight of the pillow at noon. A brief safety on a long drive. A hand held in passing. A small success no one saw. Bring that single blessing before your inner table. Place it down lightly. Notice its color. Notice its weight. Do not make a list. Keep the attention narrow. One blessing is enough. Breathe in as you look at it. Let the blessing fill the chest like a found coin. Breathe out and let gratitude warm around it. Gratitude is not an accounting. It is a warm light placed near a small thing. Let it illuminate the blessing without overworking it. If the day feels hard and blessing is hard to find, look for the simplest mercy, a roof, a breath, a quiet moment. The seeds of gratitude sometimes hide in plain things. Bring one of those seeds into your palm and call it by name. Silently, I guide a short ritual to close this hour. Close the eyes if you wish. Put a hand over the heart. Feel the hand rest there like a small roof. Speak nothing aloud. In the quiet, say one small thank you inside. Let the words be few. Let them be true. Take 3 slow breaths with that thank you in the chest. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 8. With each long exhale, imagine folding the day like a soft cloth and placing it on a shelf. Do not demand a perfect fold. Lay it down as it is. The shelf holds it. You need not carry it through the night. I will remain a soft voice for a while. I will not rush farewell. If sleep arrives, let these images drift into dreams. If wakefulness lingers, return to the orchard or to the single blessing. Use that small tool to steady the night. My final line for this part is simple and kind. May mercy meet you in the small hours. May the fruit you carry be enough for this night. May gratitude warm the ribs. Rest. Now, I will come back with the next gentle reading. When the hour calls, I ask for one slow breath as our next small work. The room is still enough. The body accepts the chair or the bed. Let the breath come in like a helpful hand. Let it go out like a small tide. Keep the sentences of the breath short. Let the pauses between them be long. I invite a quiet turning toward gratitude. Not a list. Not a duty. A single naming. Search softly for one small thing that felt like a gift today. It may be a moment of warmth. It may be a short kindness. It may be the fact that you made it through a hard hour. When that one thing appears, bring it forward with a gentle curiosity. Hold it in the mind as if holding a small stone. Notice its color. Notice its edges. Turn it once or twice with the attention. Do not try to make it larger. Let its size be right. Let the chest feel the difference that even one good thing can make. I picture gratitude as a lamp placed on a low table. The lamp is plain. Its light does not glare. It makes a small patch of the room visible. That patch is enough to set a next step. Place the named blessing into that lamp's pool of light. Watch how the edges of the day soften around it. If finding even one small gift feels hard, look for a seed of mercy, a roof overhead, a steady breath, the cup that arrived warm in the hand, the blink of kindness in a stranger's eye. These are small mercies. They count. They are not small to the place inside that needs comfort. I read a short line to hold the thought. A life that remembers small gifts makes room for hope. Hear that as a bedside word. It does not require proof. It asks only for attention. Let attention be the gift you give to this one thing tonight. There is a small ritual that helps closure. Close the eyes gently, if that feels right. Put a hand over the heart. Keep the palm light. Breathe in and let the blessing touch the palm. Breathe out and let the warmth sink a little deeper. Repeat twice. Each repetition is a folding of the day. Now imagine a little box beside the bed. It is plain wood. Its lid fits without fuss. Place the small stone of gratitude inside. Slide the lid shut. The action is not about storing away work. It is about making a small container for mercy to live in. The box sits where it can be opened by morning light if desired. I speak of completion for the day. Completion is not a finishing of every list. It is a small closing of 1 hour. Think of a door click softly at dusk. The room inside remains. The world outside takes its place. The door neither condemns nor boasts. It simply marks a pause. This pause is a mercy. Take a moment to name one thing that you will set down until morning. Keep it small. Hand it over to the imagined box. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel the shoulders soften by an inch, where the hands release a tiny load. This release is permission. It does not deny responsibility. It makes rest possible. I offer a short reading now, gentle in tone. The words speak of giving thanks for the day's small mercies and letting hope be steady in quiet places. I do not argue the meaning. I let the reading be a warm folding of thought. Let each phrase land and then rest. There is space after each line for the heart to answer. After the reading, no grand counsels. Only a few practical images to carry forward. Imagine a jar on the kitchen shelf. Each night, you might drop in one small paper today's blessing written in a single word. Over time, the jar grows bright. It is a witness to many small mercies. If sleep is thin, open the jar and read one slip. Let that simple memory steady the waking hour. Another image is a bedside pebble. Place your chosen stone on the nightstand in the imagination. Each time worry visits, touch the pebble in the palm. Name the one good thing again. The act does not erase trouble. It reminds the heart of something gentle that also exists. If regret or worry presses at the edges, do not try to erase it tonight. Offer it a seat at the far end of the room. It need not be banished. Give it a small cushion and then return to the lamp. This mild separating helps the mind see both things without letting one swallow the other. I read a very short paraphrase of an old line, "Give thanks in all things." The phrase is less a command and more a practice. It asks the heart to notice the small, practiced gently. It loosens the grip of urgency. Let that loosened grip feel like a small relaxing of the hands. There is comfort in shared ritual. If you wish, breathe slowly with me now. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 2 counts. Exhale for 8 counts. Make the out-breath the longest. Let each exhale be a folding of the day into the box you imagined. Repeat these breaths 3 times. Keep each sentence in the mind short. Let the pauses do the healing. As the breathing slows, allow a brief blessing to gather in thought. Name one person or one self-forgiveness to whom you might send this blessing. See the small light on the table glow brighter for them. No need to speak out loud. The imagination is enough for this night. Mercy is effective in small gestures. I often read aloud a few quiet phrases that have comforted travelers in the dark. They speak of peace that is not loud, of a keeping that is steady. I say them like a prayer. I do not push for grand answers. I let the phrases be a lamp passed across a weary face. Hear that gentle passing now? Completion asks for a seam to be sewn between day and night. Picture a seam made by a slow needle. Each stitch is a small act of forgiving oneself or another. The stitches are simple. A breath here, a small letting there. The seam holds without needing to be perfect. Trust the slow sewing. If sleep arrives, let these images drift into dreams. If wakefulness remains, return to the small box or the jar. Open it in the mind. Take one slip. Read the single word again. Let that one mercy live near the ribs. Keep the breath steady. Let the heartbeat find a gentler place. I will read one short scripture line in a soft tone as part of the closing of this section. The line tells of thanks that shapes the heart. I read it not to teach, but to tuck the thought into the hush. Allow the words to land like a soft cloth over the shoulders. Breathe. Let the cloth rest there. Before I step back, I offer a brief invitation. Choose one small act to mark the end of this day. It might be laying the phone face down. It might be whispering one quiet thanks. It might be placing the hand on the heart and feeling its beat. Do that small act now. Let it be the hinge between the day and the night. I keep my tone low. The pauses between sentences are long. The room listens. The breath keeps time. The images are small and steady. Mercy and hope sit near the ribs. As they have through these readings, they are not loud. They are present. As part of our closing, I will return in the next section with a brief benediction. It will be a simple sending, nothing heavy, a short blessing that you can hold as you begin to let sleep come. For now, rest in the small jar of gratitude you have filled. Let the box by the bedside hold the day. Let the lamp glow near the breastbone. I remain a soft voice for a moment longer. Keep breathing in and out. Keep the one blessing in the light. If sleep finds you, accept it without guilt. If the night holds, come back to this single mercy. I will come again to offer the final blessing, a quiet closing to this hour. I sit with you in the hush and keep my voice low. I hold the lamp of a single thought. Tonight it is simple. Rest is a gift. I say that not to lecture. I say it to hand you permission. I ask you to settle once more. Let the body find its shape in the bed or chair. Let the spine ease into support. Soften the jaw. Let the hands open. A small breath comes. A slow breath goes. The pauses between words give space to the breath. Remember the single blessing you placed in the little box. Keep that image near the ribs. The box rests on the bedside table of the imagination. It does not demand. It guards the mercy you named. I read a short line now. Be still and know that He is God. I let those words land like a stone in a quiet pool. The surface ripples and then calms. Stillness is not a test. It is a place to be tended. Breathe with me. In for 4. Hold for 2. Out for 6. Let each exhale be longer than the inhale. Let each out-breath carry a thin thread of the day a little farther away. I offer a small image. Imagine a warm shawl folding across the shoulders. It moves without pressure. It simply warms. Mercy sits there like the shawl. Accept it. It does not tally mistakes. It makes the body lighter by a fraction. Think of one worry you carry. Picture it as a pebble in your hand. It is a real pebble. It has edges. Turn it gently in your fingers. Now set it into the imagined palm of the one who watches. The palm is steady. The pebble rests there. You do not have to pick it up right now. I read to you softly again. The peace that passes understanding guards the heart and the mind. Hear that phrase like a slow lamp set near the bed. Let it make enough light for the next step. If anger or fear rises, name it in the mind. Do not argue. Say the name, and then breathe toward the place where it lives in the body. Let the out-breath wash through it. The sensation grows duller when it is met with gentleness. I guide a brief body scan. Start at the crown of the head. Breathe in and imagine a cool breeze there. Breathe out and feel the scalp soften. Move attention to the forehead. Soften the brow. Let the muscles around the eyes relax. Let the cheeks fall. Shift attention to the throat. Breathe in. Picture warm oil easing the tightness. Breathe out and let the jaw loosen. Move to the shoulders. Inhale and lift slightly. Exhale and let them drop. Feel the ribs widen a little. Let the breath be the steady hand that smooths the cloth of the chest. Now bring the breath down to the belly. Let the abdomen rise like a small tide. Let it fall slowly. Feel the hips relax. Let the legs sink into the bed or the chair. The feet rest. The soles feel steady against imagined ground. Hold the image of a lamp or a small harbor in the mind. Pick the one that comforts you most. If your lamp is a harbor, picture the boat moored and a lamp swinging gently at the mast. If your lamp is a shawl, picture its thread and the warmth it gives. Keep that image and return to it when the mind wanders. I name one small practice for the night. Each time a thought returns that pulls the chest tight, touch a finger to the palm. Let the touch be a signal to breathe in for 4 and out for 6. The touch is a tiny altar to the breath. It brings the mind back without force. I read another passage slowly. The presence that keeps watch does not leave. It is near the lonely hour. It meets the doubt with a steady hand. Hear this as comfort, not as an argument. The presence arrives like a neighbor who sits beside you with tea. It offers company before answers. If you are awake in the small hours, choose one small practice. Recall the blessing in the box. Say the single word you wrote there. Let the word be a pebble that steadies the foot. Repeat it slowly 3 times. Each repetition is a small lamp set deeper into the night. I offer a brief guide about forgiveness for this closing hour. Forgiveness need not be grand. Start with one tiny release. Place one small hurt on the horizon and let the tide take it a little way. The act of setting something down loosens the fingers. That looseness helps the shoulders drop. I do not press reconciliation tonight. I offer release. Reconciliation can come later, or not at all. The first work is less visible. It is the untying of a knot, so the chest can breathe. That untying is mercy for you as much as for anyone else. There is a soft invitation to prayer now. Prayer may be one word. It may be silence. It may be a single name carried like a feather. Place your hands where they rest best. Speak nothing aloud unless you wish. Send the small thing you cannot hold to the steadiness you trust. I guide one more breathing pattern before the final blessing. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 8. Make the out-breath long and quiet. Feel each exhale like a tide pulling the day a degree farther away from the shore of thought. Repeat this cycle 3 times. Let the last out-breath be the longest yet. I read a closing line as a benediction. May rest find the body. May mercy fill the gaps. May hope remain as a small light near the ribs. Let these words land in the chest like a soft hand. Now I slow even more. The pauses stretch. The silence between sentences becomes an act of care. If sleep comes, accept it. If wakefulness stays, use the images you have been given. Return to the orchard, the harbor, the lamp, the box. Use them as small tools. I offer a final, simple sending. Know that God's presence never leaves you. May His divine peace be your companion through the night. Thank you for joining me. And remember to share this peace with others. I remain a soft voice for a little while longer. I will step back into silence and keep watch with the hush. When morning comes, the images can be opened again, like a small drawer. Until then, rest. The night keeps company. The breath keeps time. The presence keeps vigil. Good night.